Previously on Reclamation. What? What is going
Shit
on?
happened. There was a giant train that was actually a snake. That's what happened.
I was there for that. That was true.
Anyways, for those who don't remember the last episode, even though it happened just a few days ago for us, Isaiah and company decided to take the journey to the underworld. Old Trail style, via Ion, the brood of Apophis, the serpent of chaos, which was more unsafe for the grand primordial serpent itself, not creating a new tunnel with her acid, which would have caused the death of all the mortal individuals upon her back. However,
Talk about back
we are now...
shots, am I right? Anyways.
Yeah, absolutely. After journeying through all the way down to the underworld and being assailed by undead fey creatures with sarcophagi of at least one previous pharaoh of the world formerly or now known as Jabaxi. About 90% away through the journey, our good old buddy, the Paragon of Light, the avatar of Ra himself, Amun-Ra, was cut from his connection and fell from the skies onto the serpent in dire need, a man fitting almost his own age at this point in time. Isaiah has taken it upon himself to come up with a plan to directly approach the underworld authorities as a means to find a way to the surface and to Pharos itself. Overviewing the cliff, Mowgli has decided to become the protector of Amun. Amun himself looking like he's slowly gaining his mind and body back, especially around the presence of Mowgli himself. You look at Mowgli, Isaiah, and he's actually, despite being powered by Amun, or at least Ra himself, he looks untouched. He looks pretty good. He's still gleaming with golden fur, almost translucent-looking blue eyes, and he's supporting Amun pretty well. Ion, untouched by the ramifications of being in the underworld, is currently in her lizard folk form, properly clothed, although she seems to be making adjustments based off of the movements she keeps taking and the complaints of having to wear any type of clothing as a primordial serpent. She seems to be slowly shifting her form to look more stylish and crestworthy, we'll say. Isaiah.
Go ahead.
You look over the cliff. You take in your environment, and the first thing that is very apparent to you is that the air here, as you breathe it in, it feels foreign. It feels like it's just pouring with static electricity almost. It's still filled with some type of power. And as you look around, the first thing that becomes very apparent to you, I'm going to now send you the map. And then I will send you the legend of said map as well. Each of the special locations themselves are numbered, and the numbers have been placed upon the back. Isaiah, the first thing you see is the translucent, turquoise, bluish lake of fire itself, burning, giving off the only amount of light down on the surface of the actual ground itself. In the far distance, you see what can only be described as the Mansion of Osiris in some type of triangular form. Multiple different colors are emitted from the stone or metal alloy of this building. The very top seems to be a segment of pure light that not only juts into what looks to be the top of this underworldish area, although the sky itself seems to just meld in with the cave ceiling. And the more and more you look, Isaiah, the more and more you realize the walls are beginning to fade from your vision. And you look back at the entrance that you have entered through, and slowly but surely it seems like it's just giving away to distant scenery. Alongside the far end of the mansion of Osiris, you see the field of reeds. Golden and gleaming, the would-be heaven of the Egyptian world, where you can live your ideal life. Stereotypically described as simply a plot of land for those who wish to farm and find true peace with their families, ancestors, and soon-to-be family yet to join them in the afterlife. Now, the map I gave you, Patrick, is of a straightforward shot, but you would be off to about a bottom right angle or so in reality. But my artistic skills are very much so that of third grade. So, you will have to bear in mind that the art is not exactly reality.
I love it. It's perfect, and I couldn't ask for anything more. So that the entire Triforce, that is the Mansion of Osiris.
You could say that that is the case, with the exception of the very top. It looks to be not really solid and just more of a form of gleaming pure energy light, radiant light just leaking up into the world and giving life to the field of reeds itself. Upon the mansion, you obviously see the Ankh of the original god of the underworld, Anubis. To the left, you see a symbol widely associated with Osiris. The color of the building on that segment is that of his flesh, as when he was slain by Set and revived by his wife, his form could not be changed after that moment in time, and that color is commonly associated with death itself. The bottom right is a symbol that might not be familiar to Patrick himself, but to Isaiah, it is seen as the feather of Mot, the ostrich feather, who's oftentimes, well, not oftentimes, always weighed against a person's heart at the time of judgment. If the heart is heavier than the feather, then one of two outcomes comes to be. It is fed to Amet, or it is cast within the lake of fire itself and guarded by spirits of sorts. Speculation is wide on who they are.
Okay.
To the right, before the mansion of Osiris, is the gate and road of fire. To the left is the gate and road of darkness and shadow. Leading up to that place, and either side, is the forest of the unjudged. Mowgli will convey that information to you, as will Ion, but what the forest of the unjudged is and why there are those who are unjudged, you'll have to see. Because I believe we left off with you currently walking down this cliff upon the trail of spirits moving towards the mansion itself.
Okay. So I'm moving, and I haven't. I have to get through the forest to be able to even get to the road of darkness or the road of fire.
You can choose to belay as much of the forest as you possibly wish to with a good enough survival check. The path between the forest itself and where you started is fairly little if you wish to go to the road of fire. Crossing the forest into the road of shadow would be far longer and far more arduous, you would imagine, of a check. But you made it clear that you wish to, in the last session, to go so directly towards the authorities. To do so, it would be very simply a hour-long trek down this cliff itself into the forest itself, and then a much longer journey, as far as you can tell, to the Road of Fire. But you wouldn't have to pass through the forest for more than maybe an hour.
Hmm.
And during the hour of you descending, Isaiah, can you give me a charisma saving throw?
I can do this. Let me just pull up my character sheet because I haven't done that yet. I'm a failure.
Whole set one. No,
I'm a failure.
we're done. We're done.
Way to
Put
go,
it to
man.
0.
Yep.
Delete it.
Yep. If your sheet's not ready, I'm gonna just guess it was a 0.
Yep.
Okay, charisma
Impossible.
saving throw is thick.
It's very good, I imagine.
So it's a 6 for a 16.
16. Isaiah, traveling down this cliff, bearing in mind to keep Amun Ra himself safe as you descend. Mowgli will assist with his flight, basically guarding Amun from falling down any type of rampart. Ion simply just giving her best, we'll just say, martial arts flick on wires, full-blown agility, jumping down 20 feet or so swaths here and there, just kind of not leaving any patience on the table. She's just going, and then she stops and waits for you guys to get close, and then just keeps going. Isaiah, as you climb down, it's a little concerning where you have come. You have felt different ever since you've come down here, but strangely enough, the empirical power of the underworld, this air, the static, you become empowered by it, and you regain a first level spell slot.
This is very cool, and I will regain a first level spell slot. I appreciate this. Um,
Your Kopesh, the symbol of Osiris, begins to glow.
at this point, how many symbols do I have on the Kopesh?
Oh boy. Let me pull out my list. I have a list of which symbols you should have currently and how exactly empowered they truly are. Now, if I remember right, and I will guess, I believe you have the obvious symbol of Neith. You have the symbol of Iset.
Yep.
You have the symbol of Geb.
I have a faint one of Horus from when I created that effigy
Correct.
towards him. And then I
You
think I got
forcefully
one from Amun.
you got the symbol from Amun, the symbol of Ra. You have forcefully gained the symbol of Set by defeating one of his acolytes down in the ancient kingdom
Yes,
through
I redeemed him.
decapitation means.
Didn't
Well,
I redeemed him, and then he
one
got
of them,
murked by the other one.
yeah, one of them you decapitated. The other one,
We don't talk about that guy.
the one, yeah, the one you redeemed met a quick end to a cone of cold.
Yep.
I believe I want to say that might be it. but I'm not sure if I recorded the one. I don't recall if you got one from Kepri when you went to the Scarab Oasis.
I do not recall either.
Then that will be the amount that you have currently.
Okay.
The one of Osiris is now gleaming with power, almost a light blue flame similar to the Lake of Fire itself. Isaiah, where are you going? So
Um.
Mowgli can lead the way.
Yeah. Exactly. Exactly. So first things first. Who, besides my current party, and besides Osiris, is there anyone that I know here in the underworld?
Isaiah, roll me a history check.
I'll do this.
I'll say with advantage because yeah.
All right. History is a +0.
There
The
is a one
highest.
individual that can come to mind.
The highest roll is a 9.
Highest rolls a 9. That's perfectly fine. I would say that you'd probably need an 8 for this particular check. You think of your time back in Romy's Hill. When our campaign first started, life was so simple. You were a full-blown undead sociopath who decided to wash up shore on the edge of the continent of Salia. You walked and walked and walked until you came to the first vestige of civilization you found, which was the small town of Romy's Hill. You don't know how much time had passed since you were struck down by your former mentor and brought back by the god of the underworld and his son Horus, the current leading monarch of the pantheon of the Jabaxi gods. You made friends with initially a tall, lanky woman wearing a mask with an eye upon it named Diver Prescott. After that, you made friends with what would come to be your previous party of individuals. The barbarian Eladrin, Ro, the charming yet poorly deceitful Tangus Toborn to keep his cover, and one strangely gifted Kenku artificer, Tink, who in some shape and form now resides with you in this type of familiar bird that's floating and following you everywhere you go.
Now, you say it's a familiar, but it's not technically Tink's spirit, right? It doesn't retain any of Tink's memories, life experiences, and doesn't necessarily. It because a familiar doesn't necessarily mean they have a familiar association with you, correct? Like when you summon familiar, the creatures doesn't necessarily know you; they just heed your bidding.
You can decide, in terms of the spell of Find Familiar, once you establish your relationship the first time, any time after that it will be familiar with you, but you could summon a different one anytime you wished, or every time. Tink, or the bird formerly known as Tink, roll me an insight check. Roll for Tink.
Interesting. Insight check is going to be +5. I'll take it. Ooh, natural 19 for a 24.
You look at this bird as you begin traveling through this forest. Mowgli pointing off in the direction, loudly presiding over your group and declaring how fast this journey will be. Amun gives a weak, but better thumbs up than he would have been able to do so before. Ion rushing forward. The bird formerly known as Tink stares at you, holds a stick in one hand, holds a rock in the other hand. You see Tink, eyes directly on you, clacks them together, and then flies away. There is no semblance of the previous inventor known as Tink inside the eyes of this being.
Okay. Okay. That is what I thought. That's what
You thought there might have been a moment of invention there? There was not.
Yep. Yep. We didn't create much here. We didn't create much. Um.
Isaiah, with your former allies, the very short amount of time you spent in Romy's Hill, you met another individual that you did not expect. After a few days and the carnival that displayed a knoll in a very dramatic fashion that almost ended the lives of the poor tieflings, Timmy and Patrick, there was another individual that you never would have expected to see. And it was one Ellie of Jabaxi, this fair-skinned disciple of Anubis, he declared. Dressed in similar garb to those you've seen in Jabaxi, but bearing no resemblance to those you've ever met before, he walked with certain jackal-helmeted individuals, and he walked with absolute dark intentions from what you could tell. One fateful night, you were attacked by a small, furry, goblin-like individual who garroted your neck, teleported you outside of your room into a tree line for assassination by two of these members of Melly's troop. You don't know the reasoning. You don't know the means by which they would have gotten away with it. It seems as though they were acting maybe without his instruction, or maybe he was providing some other type of service for some other seedy individuals. That is the one person that you can think of that comes to mind immediately with the underworld here.
Can I conclude that my former companions are also here as well?
Your former companions, as in your military class?
Yep.
Would you like to roll me a charisma check?
I will roll a charisma check. It's a natural 15 for an 18.
18. Isaiah, you, with your magic capability, take a moment during your journey. You stop in place, and through this connection to the underworld that you feel, you place a hand on a tree, and it shocks you for a moment in time. You feel the familiar presence of some of your former friends. You can't be positive which ones they are. You're not positive on the number. But somewhere in the forest of the unjudged, their spirits reside.
In the forest of the unjudged. Could I make a insight or a general wisdom check as to why they would be unjudged?
Yeah, roll me an insight check.
A natural 18 for a 23.
Isaiah, it's very unfortunate the time that they had been born in, and that you had been born in. The war with Set has been going on for longer than any mortal's lifetime in Jabaxi. The amount of death that Set has brought upon the world is unprecedented in number, and you know that the underworld itself works through cooperation of spirits, the gods, and how far their reach is. And at the same time, assisting Horus with the war on Set tends to take up a large amount of time. Anubis is typically the one responsible with going to the surface and gathering souls from the mortal plane that have been slain. And when Set slays souls, they struggle to find Anubis or any of his helpers in any type of freedom. And that does give you a little bit of relief because you feel their spirits down here, or at least some of them. But you can't help but feel that if he has been slaying Magi and innocents for thousands and thousands of years, it's possible that the backlog for said individuals by a means of death could possibly just be unfathomable. The workload just might be too much in general, and then adding what Set does to people is, even for the gods, a nearly impossible task for those who would wish to be judged properly. That's what you can assume.
Okay.
That's what I would say in your education as a Magi, which you did complete. You were fully sworn in. What you would have guessed if you had stayed awake during your classes. Is Isaiah the kind of guy who would have stayed awake and studied everything 100%? Or was he more of the glory in action kind of guy?
No, he was definitely more of. He was definitely more oriented around the knowledge, the school aspect of it versus the actual actions that comes with the gig, as determined by his predicament when push came to shove. Um, so he was more receptive towards things that involved a classroom or just general studying. But okay, with this knowledge, then I think I can proceed forward into the underworld. I wanted to say underdark, but that's irresponsible of me. How dare I?
Huh.
But so I'll look to Mowgli and I will say guide us through the forest and take us up to um, the road of darkness, and that's how we will navigate our way to the mansion.
Isaiah, not wishing to question you, Mowgli decides to plot the course as best he can through the majority of the forest to the road of darkness. Now, I would like to ask you this. Is there anything in particular you're going to be looking out for, Isaiah?
Um, I'm gonna be very mindful of I would say I would say illusions. I would be very much be mindful of those. Uh, I think I would also be mindful of souls that are trying to repent, and they would see us and for whatever reason potentially target us. I think those are the two biggest things that I would be mindful of as we proceed through the underworld. I think as a I would look over to Amun Ra in his somewhat haggardy form, and I would ask him, Amun, from what we have seen in the what I have seen with Mowgli in the old heart, the place that you visited Ion, I saw the murals of the gods fighting foreign gods, and them being addressed by certain Jabaxi dialects that have not stood the test of time, I guess we could put it that way. Um, is there any chance that we may stumble into those victims down here?
As you journey along, Isaiah, Amun slowly seems to be regaining control of himself and autonomy back in his body. And you ask him this question, he seems to be relatively bothered by his environment in general, but he does look at you and considers this moment in time, and he thinks about what you said. Um, Kid, I didn't know you were such a history buff. Uh, it was such a long time ago. And I won't lie, much of my memory of those times are faded. I won't lie to you, though. There's a good chance that this forest houses a lot of things you might not have ever wanted to see. Um, when we first came here to Salia, and Neith gave the sacrifice, this land itself was clear. There was very little living upon it, and Mythos, the creator of Terra Grigia, Salia, you name it, gifted us this land. It was truly a wondrous thing. But we had no idea that upon another plane in the Feywild that there would be such widespread peoples. And surely Mythos knew this, and he implanted us here. And the Duat and our spirit world, our afterlife, simply overlapped their world. Uh, None of those individuals themselves have ever been met by anyone I knew, but there were rumors of vestiges from our previous battles. How much do you know about the old wars? Did they
Um,
teach this in your military or your schools?
uh, I don't know much, to be quite honest. I mean, due to, I think, the how our culture and how Jabaxi society is naturally built up in a way where Jabaxi citizens are supportive and subservient to the current Jabaxi gods in hopes that they are protected, they're allowed to thrive, and function. I don't think it ever becomes a question or a thing where we are given the peek behind the curtain as to some of the less savory portions of Jabaxi history, because I think what we've all been growing up with was the idea. I'm starting to get this feeling that all of our problems, all of everything that is wrong with Jabaxi, has been put on the back of Set, and he is, in this sense, kind of used as a crutch. And that's not to say he's not accountable for a lot, because he is most certainly, he is most certainly a perverse entity that is definitely needs to be stopped. But I don't think that means that everyone else is free of blame, and I think that is what I'm most concerned of through our journey through the underworld as of right now, because you talk about old wars, but those old wars had outcomes, and those outcomes led to this place. I mean, that this is the final destination for all outcomes. And so I'm just saying there's probably more people. I shouldn't say people. There are probably more spirits that are more perturbed at the presence of Amun Ra, who's associated with, gods of the old wars, than some paladin and his bear companion, I would say, and his primordial, snake companion. So that's why I wanted to discuss this, because I'm concerned that your past, and when I say your, I don't mean you specifically, but I'm talking about the family at large. Your past may give us some bumps in the road here.
I think you have spent a decent amount of time thinking about this. Now, I hate to say this, but when I was your age, and I vaguely remember it, I was not Amun Ra. Imagine, what do you think I was?
I think you were like a lot of people in Jabaxi, which were people that were just trying to do the right thing and just trying to get by.
You are close. Not quite, but close. I was Ramsey, the coin thief. That was my name. And I was very much so that. I was a thief. And imagine, he looks a little more excited to talk about things like this, Isaiah, and he's slowly gaining back his footing. I was slightly notorious. Guess who my main enemy was?
Um, if you were a coin thief, I'm sure the local authorities would be your uh, arch nemesis.
You are correct. And the local authorities in the time of the pharaohs was the Magi. I couldn't tell you how many times I saw the Magi bash in someone's skull for stealing bread in those days. Those were cruel, godless days. The Magi swore oaths to the pharaoh back then, and I knew a change was going to come. I didn't know I would participate in that change. But I will tell you this, when I was Ramsey the coin thief, I feel like I had far more impact. Far more than I ever did when I became Amun-Ra. So I'll tell you this. I will bet on the young soldier Medjai and his bear friend making a difference far sooner than, and he points at your Kopesh, than whatever this will lead you to be.
Perhaps, perhaps I look at the Kopesh and I ponder it because I know that I've been acquiring glyphs, and I know that a lot of the glyphs are have been outcomes related to good deeds of sorts as it pertains to certain gods. But I haven't necessarily pondered their significance, and um, Amun alludes to a road, but I don't think Isaiah really connects what road it would necessarily lead to. I think he is still kind of tunnel visioning his own path and his journey, and fortunately for him, this web weaver has been very handy in facilitating that journey. But in terms of its impact and its consequence, I don't know if Isaiah fully grasps what's kind of in his hand. But he would look over to Amun Ra regardless and say, while I appreciate the kind words and I do uh, I do relish in making a positive difference, but right now I'm still still focused on this your our people's past, their skeletons in the closet, because right now we are in, and I'll gesture to all of it and I'll say we are in the closet, and those skeletons might not like that we're here. So I just want us to all be mindful of that as we continue through this. Uh, as we continue through this underworld.
A wise consideration. I will tell you this. I have angered many of the gods. Pissed off, I believe they say now. And I have angered Ra more times than I can count. But my power and connection to Ra is something that goes deeper than just an oath. We care about the people, this nation itself. It's a tentative balance between doing what is right for what we believe to be Jabaxi for the sake of the gods, but the gods are there to help the people. So I would ask you, consider that before you make any hasty decisions down the line. Pointing at the Kopesh once again. I will trust your judgment in the end. I've seen a few make differences in Jabaxi. Same as me, same as you will. But I'm hoping that you can make a change that will last. Plus, I didn't have a bear friend, and I didn't make acquaintances with, well, whatever the hell you are, he says to Ion. She hisses and continues on, but shares a quick smirk, as does Mowgli once every time he says bear friend, because he just loves to be mentioned.
Yes, he does. He does. Oh, who, me?
Yeah. Uh, the bird flutters overhead, dropping a few branches here and there. The trees themselves are blue. They seem to be almost alive, Isaiah. Uh, if you would be so kind as to roll me a d20 just to see what type of encounter we will come across
All
as you
right.
take the long path.
All right, here we go. It's just a flat roll.
It's a flat roll.
All right, this is an 18.
Hmm. Isaiah,
Yes,
you
God.
come
Oh.
across you come across two very familiar feelings. Two aspects that when you were on the material plane, it's hard to forget. You feel the presence of your former Magi, your allies in arms, who were slain at your side, and you feel a more recent presence in the woods. You feel fey magic,
I don't like
not
it.
too dissimilar to the magic that you have been given, or more so forced upon you in the past years when you were stuck in the heart of the mountain. You come deeper and deeper into the forest itself. You're about another hour in. Isaiah, can you give me another charisma save real fast?
Charisma save. Here we go. Holy shit. Another natural 18 for a 21.
Natural 18 for a 21?
Oh, is it a
No, this is a
charisma saving
charisma
throw?
save. Save, yeah, save.
Oh, okay. I thought it was charisma check. Okay, so if it's 18, it's 28.
Yeah, I was gonna say it'd be much bigger, I would imagine.
Yep.
Isaiah, you are you missing any higher level spell slots?
I am missing.
Any level threes or twos?
Oh, okay. Did I cast any level 3 spell slots last session? Because I don't recall doing so, but yet I still am showing that I have both of my third level ones missing. I didn't
I
cast
don't know if you
Counterspell.
level three smote. You might have level three smote at some point in time, but
I did level 2 smote. I remember that.
you level two smote.
Yep,
Okay,
I did
then
do a level 2 smote. But
if you are not missing a level three, you will regain a level two spell slot as you are further empowered by the underworld.
oh, okay. So I messed up. So um they were not filled in. I thought them being empty meant I didn't have third level spell slots, but I just clicked and I figured out.
Oh,
Okay,
I see.
so I was an
It could be
idiot.
either way, either system you want.
Yep. So I will regain a second level spell slot, and okay, yep, that gives me that back. I'm back in the game.
As you travel, Isaiah, you come across more and more spirits of the deceased as they're making their way through, and soon you begin to hear something. The further and further you go into the forest, you hear a melody. It's enchanting and attracting the spirits. Just a simple hum of
What is that melody?
Mowgli's ears back, mace at the ready. Ion completely crossing her arms, ignoring everything, doesn't seem to hear it. Isaiah, you and Mowgli seem to notice it.
Can I make a history check on if the melody is familiar?
Make a history check.
Okay, I will do this. That is a natural one.
You think this is very soothing music, and it seems like a majority of the spirits are just going towards the melody, almost like a trail, a herd of spirits.
Is the melody in the direction that we're going? Like, is it on the way to the road of darkness, or is it a side thing? Like, I'd
It
have to change directions, all courses altogether.
it seems to deviate a bit. It's going more towards the Lake of Fire itself. I would say that when it comes to what you're feeling, uh, this Fey presence is more towards the Lake of Fire, but the feeling of your allies, your former Magi, that divine magic itself, is on the current path that you are going. Mowgli is like slightly humming himself the melody and seems to be just kind of vibing, but feeling the room and just kind of seeing what you're about to do. Amun kind of stops in his tracks and just looks at you and he says, "Is everything all right? Are we doing okay?"
I hear a noise, and I'm sensing certain individuals from my past nearby, kind of off this way. Um,
You say individuals of your past. What do you mean by that? Are you
the
are you intact right now?
these individuals were the ones that were there when I got this, and I would show the scar on my torso of the late great Captain Sylvan,
Uh,
brilliantly and beautifully delivered straight through my torso, leading to
Wonderful.
my demise.
Wonderful. Isaiah, as you go to like show the scar off, as you know, your Book of the Dead was jutting out of your chest and the scar itself. As you go to show it off in a simple form, you reach for your scroll, your breastplate seals back up, and you realize that it's almost non-material when it happens, but you undo your breastplate and you show off the scar itself. Amun winces greatly at that, and he didn't seem to notice the spiritual aspect that your book was showing, and he doesn't seem to truly notice that his own very large scroll and Book of the Dead is, well, showing as well.
Interesting, interesting. But yes,
Uh, he winces greatly. That's deep. That is deep, my friend.
yes. So this scar, um, partially, not partially, I will say, is also the reason why they are here now as well. Because, well, to put it bluntly, I was a coward, and I made a poor choice in a pivotal, crucial moment for our troop, and whether or not I would have made a difference in that fight does not matter. But what does matter is that the outcome was that no one or not no one. I think only one person technically survived, and that was only because they gave in to Set's promises. But everyone else on my troop was killed.
Bringing her name to your lips, Isaiah, or the thought of her, give me a perception check to feel the presence of Kafiri.
Perception. Okay, +1. That is a natural 16 for a 17.
In the past, Isaiah, you were searching for her as she had gone missing from her own patrol. It was up to you, the new recruits, and Captain Sylvan, the large Leonin mentor and former direct ally of your very father himself, was a very formidable foe, a great sword-wielding Leonin Medjai who had been in the game for a while, was, at the end of the day, the only true combatant on that battlefield. The mission itself to recover your ally should not have fallen to just him and your team, but it was an unfortunate event in which you were the only ones available at the moment in time. And you had come across the very type of disciple, these jackal-headed individuals that had previously pushed your father himself into the Duat. You knew that the battle itself, for you guys at least, probably would have just ended in your death. And Sylvan, instead of allowing you to escape the battlefield as a deserter, planted his greatsword in your back and fought the rest of them barehanded. Kafiri was the one who apologized for these events, as her oath to Set was fully sworn before your very eyes. How does Isaiah feel when reviewing these memories?
I don't know if he is capable of shaking his accountability in this. I don't. The outcome, even if he were to, on a pure technical, logical level, not be able to refute the predetermined nature of the outcome, in which, hey, regard if you show up to fight, if you show up to run, if you show up to talk, if you show up to swing your sword, um, if you show up to try to save Kafiri, if you show up to try to kill Kafiri, um, the outcome would have been all the same, in which certainly everyone dies. I think, irregardless of his inability to refute those points, I don't think he would give himself the grace, because I think that would be I don't think he would afford himself an out, mentally or emotionally, um, because what happened happened, and we'll never know because it never happened like any of those other ways. So he he is just accepting of what was what, blah blah blah. Sorry, word salad. But he is accepting and accountable for his role, and it doesn't necessarily. He grasps it, but he doesn't necessarily, you know, he doesn't really put too much weight into, uh, hey man, no matter what you have done, what you would have done, it would have played out like that. He doesn't really heed that any of his, mental share.
The last time you saw Kafiri was at the top of Romi's Hill. She had allied herself with a number of interesting individuals and declared that she was working towards something. You met her with, I would personally say, inconsideration, and said that enough was enough, promptly forcing her surrender and pushing her deep into the pit of the Duat that had opened up near the top of Romi's Hill, in a shrine dedicated to the gods of Jabaxi. She then escaped said Duat through a magical mirror that was used by the group in order to expedite travel, and upon coming back to the material plane, placed her hand upon the shrine of Aedlir and was promptly taken the moment she did so.
So her
Isaiah,
being cast into the duat did not kill her.
it did not kill her. It seemed to have ravaged her body in the ways of poison and necrotic instances, but she came back alive somehow. As her leader and patron that she was with seemed to be immune to poison, uh, also survived later on down the line. But the last time you saw her was her making eye contact with you, and then a sudden realization as she was swiftly taken away to whatever realm you could imagine Aedlir himself controls. But Isaiah, I will say at this moment in time, you do feel her presence here in the underworld.
Interesting. Okay. I think um I think I would approach the I would seek out the where I would seek out the spirits where they are going, and I would follow that melody. Uh, and I think I would have the party come with me. I wouldn't try to separate us. Uh, I'll just look over to Amun and Ion, and I'll say, I need to I just need to see what this is. To see what this source is, because I think it's interesting that I'm the only one. Well, I think Mowgli's hearing this, but I think it's odd that only him and I are hearing this and you guys aren't.
I too have ascended. And Ion just says, what are you talking about? You guys hear some melody in the forest and you think that it's a very good idea to go into the underworld and just decide to follow something that catches your attention without any type of repercussions? I'm sure this will be fine. All right. And she starts walking in the direction that Mowgli goes in. And Amun's like, well, to glory, I suppose.
Look, I wouldn't make a decision like this if there wasn't a primordial snake and a literal god in the party. So, I appreciate, the opinions related to dissent, but I think we got this, guys. All right, let's have a little bit more, self confidence here.
You see Amun flexes a bit, and he's like, I have not had to just use my body itself in a very long time. This is going to be humbling. He looks around for a minute and fishes out a large branch.
Okay, I think that'll work.
And you start working your way towards the shore. of the Lake of Fire. Isaiah, are you approaching full blast, or are you going to approach cautiously with stealth?
Hmm. I I don't know if I don't think I would approach with stealth. I don't necessarily associate the memories the sensing of spirits that are my old companions as bad. So I think I would just I don't know if I would call it full blast, but I would have a walking approach.
The approach you will take, I'm going to roll perception for certain individuals, but I would like you to roll perception, and since you are taking a less cautious route, I'm going to say that you will have more visibility for your perception roll. So it's going to lower the DC. So roll me a perception check.
Okay. That is a natural 14 for a 15 total.
15 total. All right. All right. The more and more you move towards the shore, the more and more these spirits themselves stop becoming wisps and start to become more and more corporeal like beings. And Isaiah, you begin to see a number of what looks to be individuals of the Jabaxi kingdom that have passed on. A number of them are elderly. A number of them seem to be messengers, some warriors here and there. And the curious thing is that you begin to see what looks to be not just members of Jabaxi, but Salians as well. You see what looks to be, upon the members of Jabaxi, however, scarabs, violet purplish scarabs over the left breast of these individuals that apparates in almost a symbol. And they slowly start walking towards this melody, almost as if they're entranced. The closer and closer you get, Isaiah, the more entrancing it becomes. I would like for you to give me a wisdom saving throw.
Natural 17 for a 25.
Isaiah, that's a very high roll. And I'm going to say that with that roll, you're easily able to discern that this is a charm. These individuals are being charmed here. And you're able to understand with that roll that this is a charm for the undead specifically. You know that the Fey beings themselves, they have a resistance, but they also specialize in charms, which is why they have a resistance. This melody is entrancing individuals, as you can tell now at this point in time, further and further to the shore, ignoring the natural pathway and the road towards the mansion of Osiris. With that roll, you see what looks to be upon the shore itself a familiar sight. This translucent green being with featherless wings that glow with a transparent sheen. A featureless being that you saw previously escape the heart of the mountain seems to be trapped in what looks to be an orb of purple electricity. Partially stuck within the lake of fire, surrounded by what looks to be three looming figures. These individuals are playing instruments along the shore, you see what looks to be more purplish energy that almost like encompass sprite-like beings, and these souls are slowly walking towards these sprites, and the sprites seem to be absorbing the souls of the dead here. And slowly, those sprites are spreading an energy to encapsulate this transparent being, which you believe to be somewhat of a remnant of May's wild magic that has been, uh, how do I describe it? Stored, maybe, is the best way to describe that. It was stored over nearly 1,000 years and had escaped you setting it free. You feel that this magic doesn't have a consciousness, it doesn't have an ego itself. It is simply stuck in place. These three looming figures, one of them being about a little bit taller than you, the other two being nearly 15 feet or so tall. Arms that are even longer than their sheer height itself, and disgusting stench emits from the one with very long arms. But the music themselves they are playing is beautiful. They don't appear to have perceived you at this moment in time. The moment they become visible to Ion and Amun and Mowgli, they immediately duck. Uh, Isaiah, I don't think I like the music anymore.
Who are these people?
Um,
Or should I say things?
I know maybe 20 people in total, and I don't think they're any of them. Uh, Ion goes over to you, and Amun goes over to you. They shake their head in knowing any of these individuals. But one thing's for sure, you can tell that they are collecting the spirits of the dead, and they are trying to force their will upon this wild magic. They seem so far preoccupied with a spell of sorts.
Interesting. Okay. Um,
Ion looks to you. I do not know what this is, but this is not part of our journey, Isaiah.
Ion, I think what you'll come to learn uh, in our journey together is that most of this stuff that we do is tacked on and was never originally part of the plan at first. Um, and that is how I met you. Um, I will look over to Amun and I'll say, "Do you have any clue who they are?"
Uh, Amun is going to roll. I'm gonna say perception check here to see what he can see. A natural 19, and then he's gonna roll an insight check. A fucking another natural 19. The golden die that I won from the contest of rolling has proven to be powerful.
God bless.
He looks in their direction and he starts pointing things out to you. You can't necessarily make out their visage, Isaiah, because of the lake of fire. It is illuminating their sides of the shore, so it darkens their, obvious visible side. With the power that you have to detect this type of magic itself, you feel a similar presence. As Amun points out, those are hags, Isaiah. and you feel a more perverted, dark presence from these particular hags. It is a Feywild magic that you know to be utterly changed for the worse. The one individual down near your height, Isaiah, I would like you to roll me a perception check for them.
Okay. It's a natural 7 for an 8.
Natural 7 for an 8. They seem to be more proportional of the three in particular. The two looming figures have branches of this colored wood, this sickly blue, just jutting from their persons all over. The angle of one of their arms seems to be almost reversed, almost like a chain in cooperation with the other one. It's disgusting. The neck is nearly non-present, and the ears themselves are very large and adorned with tons of little bones and skulls from what seems to be animals and smaller humanoids of a younger year, if you understand what that means.
Okay, yeah, okay. All right, interesting.
The other large hag, who seems to be more proportional, she seems to be dripping with some type of liquid that's just burning over the side of the lake of fire, and seems to be the main ones casting the spell upon this lightning covered individual. The proportional one plays a viola just effortlessly and hums away as the spirits are slowly being devoured and gobbled up by these wispy like creatures. Amun points out that they are the will of the wisps, and they are eating these undead and powering this spell. And slowly but surely, this cage of lightning is lifting out of the lake of fire itself, and the hags begin to travel.
Oh, they're
They
leaving. They're bouncing.
they they seem to have gathered up enough souls here to create this cage and contain this being, and they start walking back in the direction that you came.
Oh, so they're walking towards us?
Uh, in a way, they seem to be going back in the direction that you came. I would like you, however, to roll me a stealth check at this point in time, as they might come across, but the music has not ended currently.
Okay. Then I will roll this. That is a natural 16 for a 15.
16 for a 15. That's pretty good. I'm going to roll perception. I'm not going to use the golden die because I'm going to reserve that for, I think, Amun, given, association with Ra. Rolling the red... No, the blue die. I'll roll the blue die.
Beautiful.
A natural 2 for an unknown number will not break your stealth score.
Nice. Nice. I
They
think.
seem to move on. The large hag with the arm seems to be not using her legs for anything, and just simply walks upon her arms, leaving her disgusting stench as she goes upon.
Uh. Hmm. I look over to Amun and Ion and I say, I know this is technically none of our business, but I don't think we should also. I think it's safe to say that any hags doing anything at any point, almost always whatsoever, can be presumed to be nefarious, and especially involving three things: one, the underworld; two, the souls of people who have passed on; and three, creating cages.
Amun speaks up and says, I have met a number of docile, he almost like squeaks that word out, docile hags that are low grade. They're very helpful to certain communities, but they always take something in kind. Um, I don't know what the fuck that is, as the kids would say. Pointing at the wild magic being. Anything that could contain something like that is not something I would consider a low grade being. So I have to agree with you that they're up to what seems to be no good.
And just to clarify, Amun, for the sake of, understanding your experiences, were the docile hags that you met, did they meet Ramsey or did they meet Amun Ra?
They met Amun Ra, if I'm being honest. I've seen a few in the journeys with the Ark. They help people with medicine, pregnancies that cannot happen, achieving pregnancy, you name it. A lot of woman-associated things that Amun Ra does not have time for, and cannot associate with personally, out of respect. Out of respect.
Yeah, yep.
He looks at Ion.
I can tell he's getting his
do you do
Bradness
you
back. Like that's
do
the
you
first
have
thing to come back.
yeah? Do you have children? Never mind. He moves on.
I
I will
think
say, Isaiah, I don't. I have this, and he points at his stick. He shows it to you. I have this. I I don't have any of this, and he tries the guiding bolt. He does his guiding bolt formation. I can't do that. Isaiah. Isaiah can do that. He can do that. Mowgli speaks up.
hmm hmm. Let me see here. I don't have the carrot blade anymore. Can't just give that to him.
No, and it's understandable why you don't, but it would be useful. It would be useful right now.
Uh, um, I'll look over to Amu and I'll be like, in this state that you're currently in, I don't even think you're ready for a fight. No offense. So don't take it too personally when I say stand down, soldier. Um, I think Ion and Mowgli and I can take this. And I'll reach into my pack and I will take the uh, vial that I got from Ion's tooth, the vial of acid, and I
Okay.
will apply the vial of acid onto my web weaver.
So, Isaiah, as you do so, you saw what the weapon or the acid did to the Red Cap's weapon during the journey. Melted it through like it was not even there. It has held up in the glass bottle, luckily enough, just due to the fact that you know
Plot.
how acid is stored itself, which is fortunate. You do notice that the bottle itself is a little bit thinner than you thought it was before, but you have a good feeling that the web weaver will hold up, considering its make. As you apply it to your web weaver, you see a symbol of Apophis appear upon your blade.
Mm,
It is now applied, but the
mm.
symbol now you have.
Uh, I look over to Amun and I'll say, "Hey man, don't take this personally. I don't know how this came about. Again, I just be doing things and things just happen. So this symbol right here, that doesn't mean anything. I'm not the boogeyman. I'm not gonna get you in the middle of the night. We're still good."
I trust you. All right? I trust you.
Okay.
but I don't want to die in the underworld.
All right, if you don't want to die in the underworld, hide in that bush. And I point to a bush in
He's
the tree
already in
line.
it.
Yeah, okay, good, good.
Already in it.
And I'll disarm him of his branch, and I will set the branch on top of his head so he's extra hidden.
Okay.
And I think I will try to sneak up on the one that's probably trailing behind the pack.
Uh, I would say due to the importance of the package that they have recently secured, uh, two of the hags are clearly concentrating. The proportional one of your size is the one who is performing the song. The song seems to have stopped attracting souls and is strictly reinforcing the spell.
Okay.
The other large one is concentrating on the spell, but the long-armed one, the smelly one, is very much so moving ahead, and at this point in time is going off any beaten path altogether deeper into the forest, where things are becoming far more dangerous to travel. But she seems to lift logs and essentially bridge valleys for the particular compatriots.
Okay.
This appears to be some type of coven.
Okay. Then I'll pull up on the smallest one. I'll sneak up to the best of my ability with Mowgli and Ion in trail.
Okay. Mowgli and Ion, I will roll them a stealth. We're going to make a group stealth check for your travel. They are going to roll. They have a very high perception score, but they're going to roll with disadvantage because the only one who's not concentrating on a spell is moving ahead.
Okay. Okay.
So roll me your stealth, my friend.
That is a natural 12 for an 11.
Oh, okay. So Ion, in her new form, she has a decent amount of stealth, as she is still serpentine in certain ways. Natural 1.
Holy fucking shit.
That is not great, but it does boost it up to an 8. So it's an 8 total, and you got an 11.
Yep.
So we got an 18 total.
If Mowgli gets the nat 12, he'll be getting his first, set of badges on his general vest.
Rolling the blue die. Mowgli. He got a natural 19.
God bless him.
Very, very good.
Is he a bear or is he a cat?
It was very much so necessary. It does bump it up. He doesn't have a great stealth score, but it is a 21. So, Mowgli leading the pack, proving himself general. The musical hag, the bard, is going to roll. Isaiah,
You rolled like
that
crazy,
is
didn't you?
with disadvantage, a natural 20 and a natural 10. I will not tell you the score total at this point in time, but only two of the hags are going to roll. The other one with the large hag is going to roll, not the long-armed hag, but the large hag is going to roll with disadvantage. Oh my god. Isaiah. Two natural 17s.
God damn you. Scuba Steve?
Isaiah, the music doesn't end as you guys travel deeper into the forest. Deeper and deeper. The hag who's concentrating on a spell pushes a finger forward towards her further friend You wonder why that is the case as you round a corner of a tree, and suddenly a tree is making its way towards you at very rapid fashion. Roll me a dexterity saving throw, as a tree has been pelted by a giant hag in your direction. I must now change my music.
I got a natural 16 for an 18.
18!
18, buddy boy.
That is going to be enough. The tree, very much so, uh, misses you altogether. I need to roll for Ion. She would be the only other one who was targeted, as Mowgli is well hidden at this current moment in time. So Ion. All right, Ion's going to take some damage. 7. Ion takes 13 points of bludgeoning damage as the tree promptly plants her into the ground, and she is. I'm going to roll a strength saving throw. Oh, yeah, she bench presses that tree up off of her. She is not restrained by it. So, Isaiah, the hags seem to have noticed your position here. I would like you to take in mind that they seem to be rather lethal. 2 of them are concentrating on a spell right now in time. One of them is actively moving towards you. What do you do before we roll initiative here?
I reassess what's in my inventory.
Wait!
Reassess my spells. And I'm gonna. Sheesh. I think I'm gonna. I'm gonna bonus action Shield of Faith before we get into combat because I think I can tell that this is gonna be a toughie, as they say.
Lovely. Love to hear it. Perfect.
And I will take a to get a better lay of the land, I guess. I want to do the thing what that Toph does whenever she sees, when she stomps her foot on the ground and the circles spiral out and she senses the environment around her. Kind of want to do that, except instead of stomping my foot down, it's like in my mind, and my eyes turn gold, and I'll take on like kind of like the eyes of Horus. You'll see the hieroglyphics in the eye, and I will look at the hags, and I will cast Divine Sense.
You cast Divine Sense. Well, Isaiah, you feel no divine presence from these individuals. You sense no infernal presence from these individuals. Now that you have cast Divine Sense, in the underworld, however, things will absolutely change for you forever. You have cast Divine Sense, opening yourself up the most intimate way possibly to this new plane of existence. Isaiah, I have decided to change certain mechanics and certain things for you depending on your smites and such. Like when you were in the environment of Ra, you were able to travel with your smite. Now, when you smite in the underworld, you are better at laying to rest the beings of the undead and the enemies of the Magi. You may now roll your damage of your smites with advantage.
Ooh, shit. Ooh, shit. Okay.
And now you may, even though it will not be very relevant here, I believe. Let me check the stat blocks. Give me one moment, as I have forgotten. You may expend 5 points of your lay on hands to attempt to put some beings to sleep with your DC saving throw. If you do this to an undead, you may lay them to rest.
Interesting. Okay.
As you become far more attuned with the underworld itself, you feel obviously the divine presence of the mansion of Osiris, and you feel a number of divine presences distantly around you, Isaiah. The Annis hag, the one with large arms, makes her way in your direction, and the other two hags have decided to keep going with the spell and are moving forward. I would like you to roll me an initiative score, my friend.
I will do this. I will do this, and I will change my music now that we are in a different. We're getting into the shits, as they say.
Lovely.
Okay. Natural 12 for an 11.
Natural 12 for an 11. I'm going to roll for Ion. Would you like to roll for Mowgli? He
I'll
has
roll
a plus
for Mowgli.
2.
That's
Okay.
a 14 for a 16.
16. Then Mowgli will go first, then it will be you, then it will be the Annis hag, and then it will be Ion, because she rolled very poorly. So, Isaiah, Mowgli waits for your orders. Isaiah, is it time to do this?
I look back at Mowgli. Actually, he's in front of me, and
Yeah.
and I'll say, Mowgli, plug your nose and pretend she's a chew toy.
Oh. All right, Mowgli's gonna rush up, and he's gonna take his 2 attacks. I think he's going to take to the skies a little bit, and he is going to attack from up there. Let me see here. Oh my lord. All right. Mowgli taking his 2 attacks with his gleaming mace of power. A natural 15 on the die. A natural 6 that will not hit, but the natural 15 absolutely will. My guy! That's going to be a solid thunk upon the head as his mace, bladed in a way, sinks into the flesh of this individual, and a pustulous liquid just leaks from the wound that he had launched off, covering him in a stink that makes Mowgli gag, even in his celestial spirit form. The the Annis hag seems undeterred by this. Simply continues her charge, but I believe it is you next, Isaiah.
I'm pulling up. I'm getting right behind her, where Mowgli's on the opposite side for flanking.
All right.
And I'm taking 2 attacks with Stinger the Web Weaver.
All right.
And so, hang on, let me just double check something. Hang on.
I will say that Mowgli's actually in the air at this moment in time, so the flanking will be impossible at the moment, but he will move into position when ready.
Oh, so he backed up from her when he attacked?
He flew up into the air in order to strike in a flashy fashion and to test out what her reach might be.
Okay, so he didn't provoke an opportunity attack because he's not out of her range,
No, he's not
but
out of
he
her
can't
range.
but he can't provide flanking.
He cannot right now.
Okay, then I will take normal strikes, and they will be two-handed. It's gonna be a 14 total.
14 total. You take your web weaver, you cleave into her dress, which is a sickly orangish color, seems to be some type of mummified skin, and you cleave deep. You get nothing but disgusting viscera. It does not seem to have fully landed on her. Her AC is higher than that.
Okay.
You may take your second attack, my friend.
It's gonna be a 16 for a 25.
25 will absolutely hit.
I'm gonna
Seeing that some of her
burn.
flesh is not important, you strike true this time.
I'm gonna burn a divine smite. So I'm gonna have at second level. So I'm gonna have 2d8, I believe.
Might be 3d8. I think 2d8's the regular.
Yep, you're right. You're right.
Get them d8s.
And
Hit 'em.
give me this. So okay, so 5 plus 6, 11. That'll be 16 points of radiant damage.
Right?
That'll be 9 points of slashing damage. And how much damage do I roll for Ion's acid coating?
I forgot about that. So she's going to have to make a con save for that. How good is a con save for an Annis Hag? +5. I'm going to say this is Ion's poison, so it's going to be DC 17 con saving throw. That's a 7. So I'm going to say you're going to roll. It's on your weapon, so it's been a little bit diluted in this situation, and it's been on there for a while. Roll me 2d10.
I'll roll 2d10. That'll be 9 points of poison damage.
So how much damage in total, my friend?
Oh gosh, great question. So 25 plus 9, so 34 points of damage.
34 points of damage is pretty good. 30 points.
Oh wait, hang on. Let me just make sure I got everything here. Hit a creature with an attack using this weapon. You can add an extra damage die of force damage to the roll. Okay, I will do that as well. So
Make sure you
that'll be
remember that, yes.
2 points of force damage. So
Two?
36
Okay.
total.
36 total is not bad. So, Isaiah, what does your smite look like in the underworld? That's what I would like to ask you. As you raise your weapon even higher to strike in the actual center of her disgusting mass, you bring the Kopesh down heavily.
I would say with Divine Smite, it's very different in the underworld in the way that, like, in the overworld, divine presence is kind of everywhere, especially in Jabaxi. So the color scheme of gold is very much present and it's incorporated in a lot of the aesthetics. But once we're in the underworld, divine color is kind of foreign and it doesn't kind of manifest the same way. So I would say that in this sense, the divine smite kind of looks like the Patronus lights in, like, the Harry Potter movies. It's a very bright, blistering white instead of gold, and it's for a moment. It looks like I have like a very annoying flashlight in my hands, uh, until it cuts through the hag, straight across the back, and the light will slowly begin to dim as the divine smite wears off.
She howls in pain as the acid eats away at her flesh. The acid also has a very peculiar effect upon her as well. As it eats away from her flesh, there seems to be growing of vegetation and flora as grass and flowers begin to just bloom upon her that you have not seen anywhere around here. It just seems to be mostly just trees and some bush here and there, but there's no like delightful life. This is sprouting what looks to be overworld flora here, as she looks at it confusingly and angrily screams at you. As it is her turn next if you are done, Isaiah.
Um, yep, I'm done.
All right. Let's see here. Isaiah, I think she is going to give you the business, as they would say. She looks at you as the clear and obvious threat at this moment in time, and is going to use Crushing Hug on you.
That's an ability.
I roll a natural 18, so that's going to be... Let me get my dice back. 9d6 of bludgeoning damage. And I would like you to give me... Actually, no, that's not the case. You are grappled within her grip, as her stench is unfortunately unbecoming of her all over you.
Unnecessary,
So,
Ray.
it's... I know. Luckily enough, that's 2 ones right off the bat, so that's good.
Do I have to
That's
make a
not
save?
Reading the rules right here. Let me see. I'm going to pile up these points right now. I don't think there's a save involved. I'm just looking at... I saw a DC, and I think that's to escape her grapple. Isaiah, you are crushed passionately, lovingly. I need a few more here. Just 2 more. I don't have enough dice here. Oh, Lord. Okay.
Oh, I fucked up. Damn it. Okay. Oh, what the fuck?
29 points of bludgeoning damage.
Why is this playing? Oh, man. Okay. 29
Her
points?
arms...
I don't like that.
Yep, 29 points of bludgeoning damage. I am wrong. Give me a Constitution saving throw as her stench is beginning to overwhelm you as she's trying to push you into her own flesh, into the very wound that you have opened up upon her.
I rolled a natural 11 for a 15 on the con save.
15 is enough. You are not incapacitated at this moment in time.
Okay. Cool.
She seems to have very much so encapsulated you, and with her arm she cannot take attacks while you are grappled in this way. However, you will take more damage from her, the same amount of damage again at the start of her turn. That comes to Ion. Ion, seeing this happening to you, does not like it. You know what else she doesn't like?
Women. Hags.
Yes, women and hags. No. Well, she doesn't like hags. She realizes now. She might not have met one before, but she doesn't like it when trees are thrown at her. So she's going to pick up the tree, Isaiah, and she's going to hit the Annis hag with it.
Oh, jeez. I don't know. I don't see how this could hurt me.
You know, it's a thing with primordial beings is that they tend to very much so give in to their very powerful primordial emotions and strike out at the nearest possible source of their discomfort. And she's going to pick up the tree, and at least she's going to hit it in the back, away from your grappling. So I'm going to say that she's going to roll, and this is obviously not a natural weapon for her, so that is going to be plenty enough. So I'm going to say that it's going to be 3d6 worth of damage plus her strength score. Those are some good rolls. Ion does... she does about 15 points of bludgeoning damage. Oh, no, pardon me. I didn't add her strength score. She does about like 21 points of bludgeoning damage with a tree. Sadly, erupting you in more disgusting ichor, but she definitely lets out a scream as this tree hits her in the back. Her sisters call out to her, "Kosawa! Quit playing with your food! We must move!" And she nods in their direction, but doesn't seem to speak in general. That is going to be... I'm going to say that Ion's going to move towards the back of Corsoa and begin a flank for you once you are free. Mowgli's turn is going to be up next. What would you like Mowgli to do? Because technically you would have control of him. Do you want Mowgli to try to free you, or do you want Mowgli to continue the attack?
I think I want Mowgli to. Yeah, I think I want Mowgli to free me.
All right. Mowgli has a pretty good strength score. It is a DC 15 athletics to help you escape. This will take his action. Huh! That is a 13 on the die for plenty. Isaiah, he sinks the mace into a gap between you and her, and he manages to break her arm off in the direction where you can slip out, luckily enough. Just right before she tries to bite your face off.
Interesting.
That is going to be Mowgli's turn for now. And I'm going to say that he's going to step between the sisters and Corsoa here, so as to not allow them visage and or passage. That is you, my guy.
Do I add any bonuses on concentration checks?
It would just be a Constitution saving throw. Oh shit, were
Okay.
you concentrating on...
Yeah, I was
Shield of
concentrating on
Faith?
Shield of Faith, so I passed that. But I was just doing that now, so I think I'm gonna switch to my. I'm gonna go one-handed, equip my shield, and that way I don't have to be, in so much
Good move.
so much pain. And then I'm going to. I think I'm gonna take. That doesn't do much for me. I'm gonna lay on hands myself for 45 HP, And then for my
Okay.
bonus action, can't do anything. So that'll be the end of my turn. I'll still be right there. I don't want to move because I don't want to provoke opportunity attack.
Sounds perfect to me, my guy. So that will be your action. You got no bonus action, I assume?
Nope.
I will say that that will move towards the Annis Hag herself. Large and in charge, she seems to have dropped you for now. But she looks at you, Isaiah, she looks at Mowgli, and she looks at the rather formidable Ion, she realizes at this point in time. And she, being a hag, is going to do some fuck shit, as hags do. Uh, you look around, Isaiah. She begins to utter a spell in some type of language. Do you speak Sylvan by chance? Not your captain, but the language.
Why did you say that name? No, I do not speak Sylvan.
All right. She utters a spell, and with a quick crack of her arm, replacing it back, she erupts a nasty steam from her mouth, and suddenly you are amongst fog cloud.
And I'm gonna take my reaction to cast counterspell.
All right. That is actually going to, with a straight up counterspell, you take your magic, launch it straight into her mouth before she can actually cast the
Jesus
spell fully.
Christ.
Yeah, as the mist erupts from her disgusting maw. Yeah, you completely negate her fog cloud at that point in time, so that sucks for her altogether. And that is also, I believe, her action. Yeah, that's her action. So you just had to do that, didn't you, my guy?
I did.
All right.
Fucking had to. I had to.
I just need to see what she can even do at this moment in time. What is she?
She can end her turn. I know that.
I think that might actually be her only option at this moment in time. It's unfortunate, but yeah, I think she's just going to end her turn at this moment in time. Yeah, so it's going to go over to Ion. Ion is going to bop, as the kids would say. She does so with advantage. She's making unarmed strikes. That is just enough to hit her armor class.
Gosh, I hate this.
Ion punches her in the back of the knee, or where her knee would be inside of her dress, she assumes, for 9 points of damage. Let me record that. And making the second attack. A 2 and a 4 is not going to be enough. She punches the knee again, and it just cracks back, avoiding the attack altogether. She's looking a little hurt now. Absolutely banged up. Back to the top of the round, Mowgli. If you don't instruct him to do otherwise, he would do the dodge action, but I have a feeling you want him to bop as well.
No, he's gonna hit. He's gonna have to throw those hands.
Mowgli's gonna flourish his mace for a second, throw the handle up in the air, catch it, and spin it around for a cool swing on the top of her noggin as he can fly up there. That's just for show. He is going to... no, he can't have advantage because you two are granting each other advantage at this moment in time with a flank. This is a large creature as well. I should have kept that in mind, so the positioning is quite interesting in this moment in time. Mowgli rolling with his attacks. Natural 20 and a natural 3. So the natural 20 makes him look great, though. Oh my god, it makes him look fantastic.
Our general!
Mowgli, oh my god, a straight 8 amount of damage on the first die, and then a... followed up for a total of 12 points of damage. He just clacks that mace down onto her head like a passionate general fighting in a war himself. Let me add up these points real quick. That you guys have done a lot of damage, fucking paladins. Fucking
Mm.
paladins. My guy, it is your turn, Isaiah. Your team is beating the fuck out of this hag.
Yep. I think I'm going to. Uh, I think I'm going to. Hmm. I have Poseidon's Wrath playing in the background. Oh, it hits. It hits. From God of War.
Oh.
How far away are the other two hags?
Uh, I'm gonna say that they don't travel at full speed because of the concentration. They're traveling, they're actually pretty fast. They travel 20 feet per round. They have gotten, I'm gonna say, only about, if they dash, I suppose they are gonna dash, only about 80 feet away from you. You can vaguely hear the music still, so there's kind of a dead giveaway for you to be able to follow them. So
Yeah.
Isaiah, you absolutely know where they are for the most part. You don't have visual on them, but you have an idea. Plus, the electricity is also a giveaway.
Yep. I think I'm going to. I can see the orb, right?
You can see the light from the orb, yeah.
Okay. Then on the orb, I'm going to expend my last third level spell slot to cast Dispel Magic on the orb.
All right. Is that what is the distance for dispel magic?
120 feet, buddy.
120 feet. That's pretty good. Uh, Isaiah, as you very impressively just kind of like all three of you are beating the shit out of this hag. You're doing great. You're
Thanks, Dad.
straight up, yeah, you're bopping her here and there, cleaving into her, covering your face anytime any type of viscera or
Hey,
pus
yo.
almost gets into your face. You block it with a shield, drop it on the ground. In between that, you see the orb come into view in between the tree line. You send out your dispel magic. As you do so, the hag that's playing the music with she's going to waste her reaction to cast counterspell, but is out of range. You see her counterspell go up, and your dispel magic is far too fast for her counterspell to keep up.
Hmm.
As she has to be close to you to cast counterspell.
I want to keep you honest. So.
You rolled?
No. I guess the. For each spell. So I gotta read Dispel Magic because it's a check. Any spell of third level or lower on the target ends. For each spell of fourth level or higher on the target, make an ability check using your spell casting ability. The DC equals 10 plus the spell's level. On a successful check, the spell ends. So I guess that's for you to call out if the orb has a fourth level spell or higher being cast on it.
You get the idea that this is a very high level spell. This is a coven spell, in fact.
Okay. So,
So you're gonna have to roll me a d20 and add your charisma modifier.
okay. So, DC equals 10 plus the spell level. Okay. All right. Here we go. Wisdom save, or wisdom modifier, wisdom check. Cocked.
God, nice God.
That
Whoa,
fucking
whoa.
sucks. It's a natural 8 for a 9.
Isaiah, your magic, as true as it might be, more powerful than it's ever been in the underworld. This spell is powered by the souls in the underworld, and it repels it.
Fuck! Okay.
But you have caught the attention of the other hags at this point in time. The one playing the music, reinforcing the larger hag, begins to move towards your fight.
Bet. Bet. That'll end my turn.
That will end your turn, my friend. Now, the Annis Hag is going to take her 3 attacks on you. She's not going to crushing hug you this time. She is going to take her bite attack and her 2 claw attacks on you, as you have just revealed yourself to be a little bit more than what they originally thought, my friend. You dirty dog. So that is a 9 on the die for +8. Is that a +8? Yeah. 17. Does that hit?
No.
You have Shield of Faith, correct?
Yep, you have to beat an 18.
Lovely. Lovely. So the bite does not land. Now here's the 2 claw attacks. Same additive. Well, that 3 is not going to hit, but the natural 15 is going to hit. So you take 3d6 plus 5 slashing damage from this hag. She can hit hard if she hits, but she's not doing so. So, Isaiah, you take... Was that 12? So you take 17 points of slashing damage from one of her 3 strikes. Damn, these bitches can hit hard if they actually hit. But,
That
too
hurts.
bad. Too bad. You're doing great. That is going to move on to Ion's turn. She's going to take her 2 attacks. Fuck this hag. Damn, neither of those are going to hit, unfortunately. Actually, let me see Ion's step. No, it's just one short. Okay, Ion is punching into nothing. Just soggy flesh, and is getting spilt on with disgustingness. Moving back to Mowgli, he's going to bop. Unless orders otherwise.
Yeah, bop. Get it done.
Okay. A natural 6 is not going to hit, unfortunately, for him. Damn it, and a natural 7 as well. The hag's not hitting that much, but neither is your team. Moving back to you, my friend. Actually, I'm going to roll initiative for the bard. Okay. So, the proportional hag makes her way in your direction, Isaiah. She seems to have hair of seaweed. There's a bit of a, disgusting starfish that covers her face mostly, and only reveals a right eye and her bottom jaw. She seems to be able to talk through it. It looks almost like very similar to, I think, Aquaman's brother from the movie. You know, that kind of look, except not a mask, just the actual seaweed itself, or the actual starfish itself. Disgusting. She approaches you guys. Isaiah, can you make me a DC 11 wisdom saving throw?
I can do this. DC 11
As
wisdom.
Mowgli and our boy... I'm going to say Ion. Yeah, Ion's going to make it too. Ion and Mowgli will make it.
I just made it. I rolled a 3 for an 11.
Okay. So, this is going to be very dangerous. As she stares at you with her one visible eye, you feel your very soul touched by this disgusting being.
Tell her to stop touching me.
Oh. Okay. What's Ion's save? So Mowgli rolled an 11 on the die for an 11. Thank God. Ion rolled a natural 2 for not enough.
Damn.
Isaiah, you look at Ion, make eye contact with this bard-like hag. The hag, the sclera, the white part of her eye, goes perfectly violet with a disgusting hue, with like worms just growing inside of it, matching up to the iris, which turns into a slit. Ion drops to 0 HP.
That's fucked up and irresponsible of you to do, Ray.
The death glare of the sea hag is very dangerous. And suddenly, it's a 2v2.
Okay, so whose turn is it?
It will be your turn next. You see your friend go from basically full HP to 0 HP, as Ion is now on the ground making death saves.
Is Mowgli on the ground?
Mowgli is perfectly fine.
But do I have flanking with Mowgli or no?
Mowgli does not have flanking. Ion was on the other side of this being, about 10 feet away from you. As the Anis hag is large, this medium-sized hag makes her way in your direction, no longer playing music, but begins to chant some type of spell coming up next, you believe.
Okay. Okay. Oh man. Okay. I'm gonna take 2 attacks on the hag in front of me.
Can you give me a perception saving throw before you do so?
What's a perception saving throw?
Oh, not a perception saving throw, a perception check.
Okay.
Yeah, you, well, I mean, maybe it is a perception saving throw at this moment in time. I don't know.
I rolled an 8 for a 9.
8 for a 9? Alright. Carry on with your turn, my friend.
Good. Stop bothering me with this shit. So, does a 16 hit?
Does a 16 hit? Which one are you attacking?
The one in front of me, yeah.
17 is the armor class.
So that's
I'm
another
afraid to
one.
say.
That's 1 hit, so I only hit her once.
Okay.
Then I will do a D8 plus 5. And a 2D8 actually. And I'm gonna burn a second level smite to make sure that this hurts harder.
Oh, get it, my friend, get it.
So that'll be 11 points of slashing damage, 4 points of force damage. So that's 15 points of damage so far. And now I'll roll the radiant damage from the smite.
Okay.
That'll be 15 points of radiant damage as well. So 30 points
30.
total.
She looks real banged up, Isaiah.
And then I think that's all I have. I'll probably end my turn right there.
All right. So next up is our homie Corsoa. Corsoa kind of sneers in the direction of her sister.
Just wait, question. Did I don't have any poison damage to do on Corsoa.
No,
correct?
the acid itself, I'm going to say that you have about maybe 2 or so doses of it. The acid was only for a single strike, like poison.
Okay. Okay. Cool beans. Continue.
That will be the Anis hag. She is going to look at you. She looks at her sister, and she sneers, saying, "I didn't need help. But I appreciate it. As her head turns upside down and she smiles, a bit of her drool just goes down her face into her eye sockets. She looks back at you, Isaiah, and she begins her attack. She is going to go once again for another hug because she loves you.
God damn it.
She has a +8 to hit. I don't want it to hit. I don't want it to end here. Don't
Disadvantage.
let it end here.
Disadvantage.
Oh, disadvantage? Okay, why? No.
Because I don't want her to hit.
Oh,
Personally.
okay, I got you. You know what, my guy? She rolled a 7 on the die. That's not gonna hit.
Good shit.
Oh my god. You're wise. You know that that's a bad place to be, my friend. You managed to duck out of the way just in time. Uh, with that, that's gonna be, I believe, yeah, that's gonna be her main attack there. It doesn't say that she gets more than one attack. I feel like that attack is just so big that it has to be her only one. So that's just how I'm going to rule it here in this situation. Isaiah, she looks at you, and you get the idea that she doesn't want this fight to continue on at this moment in time.
Yeah, she fucked up the hug. I juked her out.
Moving forward, that is going to be Ion's turn. Isaiah,
She rolls a nat 20. I know it.
you look at Ion, and you begin to see the underworld changing around her. Something seems to be happening as she rolls her first death saving throw, which is a 5. It is a failure.
Fuck that.
That is unfortunate. Back to the top of the round, getting into it, that is going to be, unfortunately, with the highest roll in initiative, it's going to be our homie, the Sea Hag. She rolled an 18 on the die.
Okay.
She makes her distance over towards you, Isaiah. She begins to cast a spell. Do you want to counterspell?
I don't have a 3rd level spell slot.
You don't? Okay. She begins to cast a spell, playing her instrument, and a hand erupts from next to you. The ground itself gives way to a spectral, disgusting hand as she casts Bigby's hand.
Fuck Big B. And his hand.
The hand is going to slap the shit out of you. uh,
It will try.
what is the hit to this? Damn, that thing's got a 26 strength. That's crazy. All right. Oh, see. I see. So it's gonna be +8 to hit here. That's not gonna hit. Is there 2 attacks with that or just 1 attack? Looks like it might just be 1, my friend. So, Isaiah, it
Mowgli's turn,
goes
right?
to strike you, and you block it. No
Fuck
problem.
yes. Fuck yeah. What does Big B's hand look like? Or is it like you put your sauce on what it looks like? It's like unique for whoever casts it.
I've seen it being, unique for anybody who casts it. Hers is gnarled and claw-like. It's about the size of, not quite Master Hand in Super Smash Bros. The final boss, but more like a medium size or so. Like it would take up your entire torso.
Oh, it's Big.
Yeah, it goes for a strike on you, Isaiah, and it unfortunately doesn't have enough weight behind it. That is going to be Mowgli's turn. Mowgli looks to you for direction.
Mowgli, finish this hag.
All right, Mowgli is going to rotate over to where Ion was to give you flanking and advantage and take advantage himself. Yes, Mowgli, a natural 19. A 7 on his D8.
Woo!
Second attack. Oh, advantage. I almost forgot. Damn it. A 4 and an 8. Alright, Mowgli does a decent amount of damage onto this Annis hag, and he lays her out almost. That is pretty good. Pretty good. Alright, Isaiah. I believe it is your turn next.
All right. I'm making 2 attacks. This time, I'm gonna put away my shield and I'm gonna make it a 2-handed attack. So that's a natural 16. That'll hit.
That'll hit.
That's a natural 15, so that'll hit.
Yes, sir.
So let me get all these d10s. That'll be 28 points of slashing damage and force damage all combined together.
28 points.
Yep.
All right. Let me add that up. Isaiah, she is not quite down, but
Fuck
you
you,
have
Ray.
a feeling that the this next attack will absolutely end her. You almost bisect her in half.
Okay. Then that ends my turn.
That ends your turn. All right. That comes to Ion with another death save. A 15. Isaiah, you see the sand in between the trees, the dirt, begins to swallow Ion ever so slightly. But it slows.
Good. Good. Okay. I gotta take care of Ion here soon. That may be in my best interest.
Maybe. That brings it to the Sea Hag, whose name I cannot disclose.
Your mom.
The Sea Hag is going to... Is this a bonus action? This is a bonus action. All right. Oh, boy. The Sea Hag is going to...
It's not the Sea Hag's turn. It's the main Hag's turn.
Oh, you're correct. You shouldn't have said that. Damn it.
I'm good. I want to keep you honest.
You are honest. This is going to be an interesting situation. She is...
Did she go out swinging or did she try to run?
Yeah, she's very much so in a poor situation. She doesn't know your spell slots. Oh, yeah, she doesn't know. She has a good feeling she knows a little bit about what you are, but she doesn't know what you're fully capable of. So I'm not going to metagame this. I'm going to play it the way it's meant to be. I'm going to say she is going to... Yeah, she's going to disengage.
Interesting. Okay.
She chooses to disengage. Now here's the problem. As she does so, she picks up Ion.
That's problematic. as what we say in the biz.
Ion's form itself is rather small, and for a hag with a 21 strength, she can pick her up with very little issue, but she cannot cause any damage upon her at this moment in time. So she disengages, moves 40 feet in the direction of her sister as, you and Mowgli try to take, cinematic opportunity attacks that she dodges. And she looks at you and she just kind of like holds Ion by the very tip of her arms, by her wrists, and she says, ah, I wouldn't follow us if you want her to live. And that's going to be her turn. The Sea Hag, this is a far better situation than I was going into with the original idea. So the Sea Hag looks towards you, Isaiah. You know to avert your eye from hers at this point in time. And you feel an overwhelming presence of a frightening aura that you are immune to, actually, as a paladin.
Yeah.
Take hold. And she makes note of that you are just simply resistant to such a thing. So she looks at you and she says, my, we have come across a most peculiar individual here in the old forest. So, my young friend, what will it take for you to walk away? Will it be your friend's life? As she puts a claw up to the neck of Ion. But answer quick, as you feel the hand slowly walking or floating towards you as well.
The Big B's hand.
The Bigby's hand.
Uh, how far away is she from me? 40 feet?
Ion is 40 feet away from you at this point in time.
Mm-hmm. Can I make a religion check?
What would you like to religiously check, my friend?
I would like to. I would like to say a prayer to Osiris, and I'm just gonna say it's a simple, quick prayer because I know I have a hag in front of me. I'm gonna say, you ought to do better at managing your lawn, and I'll end the prayer there. Um, and then I'll continue to uh, I'll continue talking to the hag, and I'll say, uh, if you hurt the primordial snake Ion, I promise you that I will have the might of Osiris and Apophis themselves see to it that your coven does not exist in this realm, in the Fey realm, or the material realm.
The hags look at you. The Annis hag begins to chuckle. At first, being surprised, and then realizing that they currently hold a serpent in their hands. Ho 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 ho! So, young warrior, threatening to bring down the wrath of the gods, whose lawn we play in. I hear you. But why would we give up such a prized possession, you might ask? And as you feel the Bigby's hand brush upon you, suddenly a fog cloud emits from the sea hag. That is going to be the end of her turn as the Bigby's hand dissipates.
Okay.
That comes to Mowgli.
I'll tell Mowgli, go get Ion.
All right. Mowgli begins to fly up into the air over the fog cloud to get any type of visual. He takes off in the direction past the fog cloud. He's going to fly his full distance in a direction. You have the feeling of where Mowgli is, but this fog cloud is still here, Isaiah. With a full dash, that's Mowgli's turn. That is going to go to you.
I'll take the 30 feet straight ahead, and then do I see the hag that's holding Ion?
You see the hag that's holding Ion is starting to make the direction off in the distance, and Mowgli is in hot pursuit. This hag is moving very fast. Mowgli is able to match her speed, but he cannot overtake her.
She'd use up all of her movement to catch up to the sea hag, so she wouldn't have moved.
The Annis hag moved past the sea hag and was using the fog cloud itself as cover initially.
You said Ion was 40 feet away from me.
Ion is in the hands of the Annis hag, who
Yep.
moved past her sister.
Which was 40 feet. So
The sister was far closer.
I'm confused at what you're saying.
The sea hag was approaching every turn I should have been narrating, up until she got to a certain distance. Laying down the fog cover, the Annis hag was already past you.
Yes, I know that, but when I asked how far away is Ion from me, we said 40 feet, and she can't move until her turn, which is after my turn.
Ion is not in control of her movement at this moment in time. She is at 0 HP. The
I know.
Annis hag is in control, and
I
she
know.
moves 40 feet around, which is 80 feet with a dash.
But she disengaged and moved 40 feet.
Yes, she did.
So she's only 40 feet, so I moved my 30 feet, and so she's only 10
I suppose,
feet now.
yeah. I suppose her turn is next.
Yes.
All right.
I'm going to point the web weaver and say, you should have let her go, and I'm going to cast Guiding Bolt, and I'm going to hit her.
Before you do so, I'm going to say this. She is fully engaged with keeping herself alive over Ion and will absolutely use her as a shield. So if you roll poorly, this could mean you hit Ion. I just want you to know that.
She's 10 feet away from me? With 30 feet and 40 feet?
If you move full distance, yes.
Yep, then I'm still going to do it.
She will absolutely use Ion as cover.
Natural 11 for an 18.
So she is going to boost her AC by 2 with Ion. I'm going to ask you if you...
I'm hitting.
Okay.
I'm hitting. And so I'm going to roll the 46. 11 plus 6 is 17. That's 17 points of radiant damage. However you want to distribute that
Okay.
amongst the Sea Hag and Ion, you choose to do so. But I am taking my reaction as Aura of the Guardian to take any damage that Ion takes to myself.
Interesting. And you're within the distance of that?
Yep, when a creature within 10 feet of you takes
Okay.
damage, you can use your reaction to magically take that damage.
So you launch your guiding bolt. The Anis Hag's AC is boosted to 19 with Ion herself. You go straight through Ion, but at the same time negate that damage. I'm gonna say with the idea, what was your total for your hit?
7. Oh, total to hit?
Yeah,
18.
it was 18. I'm gonna say that you will negate the damage itself, but you don't hit the Anis Hag. Because you would not have broken through her AC. Had you broken through the AC, you would have hit the Anis Hag as well. So roll your damage again, or what was your damage again?
17 damage.
You're gonna take half of that, I'm gonna say.
Alright. 9 damage.
The hag's eyes are wide in that moment in time, and how you were willing to do so.
So, rounded up or rounded down?
Down.
Okay. Did Mowgli's turn precede me?
Mowgli is flying above, trying to keep up with the hag. I'm going to say that he's going to catch up with her due to the not knowing how much distance she had. So if she tries to get away, she will have to disengage in order to avoid any damage.
Okay. Then, in that case, that ends my turn.
All right. That's going to be the Anis Hag. She, at this point in time, she's got Mowgli hovering above her, helicopter style here. She has Ion. There's an interest now. It was just a hostage situation. She is going to... Yeah, she is going to plop Ion on her back, and she is going to cast Fog Cloud on herself as well. So you can no longer see this being looming inside of the fog.
Okay.
So, Isaiah, you're in a precarious situation. That is going to end her turn. I need to roll a death saving throw for Ion, I believe, next. We have one failure and one success. That is a 14. That is a success. Isaiah, you don't know it. You don't know why, but you know innately, deep inside, that Ion is okay for now. You can feel the underworld is not quite claiming her at this moment in time, and she is in that fog cloud.
Okay, cool. Whose turn is it? Sea
That
Hags?
that is going to be the Sea Hag. I assume you went past the fog cloud and not into it, unless you went into it.
I moved 30 feet.
Did you walk through it or around it?
I went straight.
Straight? Okay. So you didn't run into her. You don't know if she's still inside of that thing. But, Isaiah, the fog cloud behind you dissipates, revealing that she is gone.
The Sea Hag's gone.
Sea Hag's gone.
Okay.
That
And,
moves to Mowgli's turn.
okay. He's on his own mission. I can't communicate with him right now, probably.
Technically, through the mechanics, you control him as a summon, But you said get Ion. If you don't give him an order otherwise, he's going to continue to do so.
Okay. Yep. We'll do that. And then I'd like to make a perception check for Ion. Uh, I want to let you know that since I hit Ion with Guiding Bolt,
Oh,
uh,
you did.
she
You
has a
did.
mystical dim light glowing on her, so she is, I would argue, more visible than
Well,
normal.
well played. I'm going to say that depending on your actions here, if you enter this fog cloud, you will actually have a chance of locating her.
Okay. Okay. Let me know when Mowgli's turn ends if you want to do stuff behind the scenes.
So Mowgli is going to search inside of the fog cloud. I'm going to say he's going to roll with advantage, which will cancel out the disadvantage. So it's going to be a straight roll of perception here. Natural 19.
God bless. God bless. Streets needed this.
Mowgli has located Ion. Uh, Isaiah, I don't see the hag.
Interesting. Much to think about. Much to think about. Okay. Does that bring it to my turn?
Uh, Mowgli is going to pick up Ion in this moment in time. Actually, no. Mowgli is going to perform a medicine check. Actually, fuck it. No, Mowgli can heal. What am I thinking? What am I thinking?
He's the man.
Mowgli brings Ion up for 5 HP, which is something. You hear Ion coughing repeatedly and vomiting due to stench. Doo-doo stench. And that's going to be Mowgli's turn. All right, my guy.
Hmm. Uh, I guess is the fog cloud still up?
Fog Cloud is still up.
Okay. Then I'm gonna run 30 feet straight ahead. And do I see the hag, or could I make a perception check for the hag?
You run 30 feet straight ahead. You roll a perception check. What senses are you relying upon to find this hag?
Uh, Probably two things. I want to base it off of smell and odor, and probably
Why?
traces of Fey presence.
Wise choice.
All
I
right.
don't believe you have the ability to detect Fey in any innate way, but I'll say with your resonant Feywild magic energy, you may make a check with advantage.
Oh, I did cast Divine Sense, but that only lasts until the end of your next turn. Okay. Uh,
You can take back the divine sense.
oh yeah, I'm not casting it now. So you're gonna love this. They were both
Yep.
nines for a 10.
Damn it. She's around here. You absolutely can tell, but it's not. You're not able to do so at this moment in time.
I think I'll take the dash action and proceed an additional 30 feet forward.
All right, fog cloud is 40 feet in total, so you're not quite able to detect where this hag is. It is difficult to discern at this moment in time.
Okay.
Uh,
So it looks like she's still in the fog cloud then? Because I
it
assume I'm on
you
the other side.
definitely you would bet on her still being here. You can't base anything on the sea hag, but the Annis hag is definitely here still.
Okay. Then in that case, I'll end my turn. Because there's not much else I can do. which would make it the Anishag's turn. Ooh.
It will be the Anishag's turn. Isaiah. You hear 3 attacks being done to both Mowgli and Ion.
That's not ideal.
You hear a body drop as Mowgli cries out for Ion's name. Wow, the music I have is very fitting at this moment in time. It's very looming. Oh my god.
You're rolling nat 20s over there?
I did. I rolled a nat 20.
You're a bitch. You.
Mowgli hasn't been touched yet, though, so
He's a pure
he's
soul.
not been touched yet. But unfortunately, this situation he will be. Oh. Okay, I still have one more attack to roll.
Gross.
16 on the die. How much health did I give this summon? And he's boosted. Please give me the boosted health. You hear in the distance Ion drop. And then there was 2. You hear the clash of Mowgli's shield thudding into flesh, his mace being caught, a bite landing on Mowgli, tearing his neck. And now there is 1. And then a cackle as you feel Mowgli's presence disappear. Isaiah, roll me a perception check.
A 10 for 11.
You look up. The familiar, formerly known as Tink, is above you. Slowly but surely growing in size, unassailed by anyone at this moment in time, ready to move on your order.
Yeah, there's bigger fish to fry. I'm gonna head back into the fog. I'm gonna find the hag.
You look around. Roll me a perception check real quick. Actually, I have to roll for Ion again. Death save failure. Top of the round, Sea Hag. Movements in the shadows. You hear and see amongst the fog a spell is cast. And silence again. You can feel your heartbeat in your ears, Isaiah. As a fear of your death looming, but a resurgence of courage knowing that you will not leave your allies and flee from this battle. Let's see if that courage is able to hold on.
I charge into the fog. 2 hands on the web weaver, and I try to trace down the noises of Mowgli's voice when I heard it cry out.
Roll me a perception check with advantage, because you would have felt his presence dissipate when he was unsummoned from this world.
Natural 12 for a 13.
13. Isaiah, you You find Ion. Hematoma becoming very visible upon the top of her crest on her head. You feel this fog looming around you. Something is very large, clearly moving amongst it, moving things invisibly.
Okay.
You realize there are two spellcasters in this situation you're in. And the one concentrating on the fog cloud is on death's door, knocking. You see for a split second in time an invisible Annis hag just gently moves a root out of the way with her foot as she displaces it with her great strength, revealing herself to you. With a sickening crack, you see where she is. Your attack will be with a disadvantage still, though, but you know it will only take one.
Hmm. Oh shit, man. Do I have a
Except
sense for the other hag?
the sea hag,
Yeah. Do I have any sense of her or no?
you have no sense of her at this moment in time. I will say that you do have a familiar available to you that if you put into danger's path can cancel out the disadvantage, giving you advantage, making it a straight roll.
Um. Nope, we've lost too many soldiers today. I'm gonna take my 2 attacks.
Okay, make your 2 attacks. Disadvantage.
The lowest one was a 6 for a 15.
Okay.
And the second attack will be. Wow, horribly bad. An 11.
Despite rolling very poorly on advantage in her stealth, the Annis hag is invisible. You can't tell what you're swinging at exactly. You swing, you don't catch anything meaningful, unfortunately. She blocks your Kopesh too close. She pushes on your shield for your second strike. Do you have anything else?
I end my turn.
Your turn? The next one in the initiative is the Annis hag. She is going to come out of invisibility and make another crushing hug on you, attacking with advantage. Dual 14s. That will be another 9d6, which is a sickening number for me to roll.
Oh, yeah,
Oh
it
my
is.
god. The first 3 dice I rolled were 5s. Oh man. Oh, that's real easy. So that's... Oh my god. That's going to be 39 points of bludgeoning damage. Can you give me a Constitution saving throw? What are you at right now?
With the Constitution saving throw, I got a 10 total.
Okay. Oh boy.
And I drop.
Yep. You, Isaiah, drop. I'm going to say that with your final mental connection to your familiar, what do you tell it to do before you lose consciousness?
Um. Uh. Find Amun and tell him I'm sorry.
There's only one other chance that I can give this at a moment in time. Isaiah, give me one death saving throw with advantage to see if you can pop back up.
I'm currently being grappled by her.
You are currently being crushed by her at this moment in time.
Yep. Yep. I rolled a 16 and a 17.
Is that within the parameters of what you are
I
to
don't
come back
even
up?
I don't even know if the parameters of what I am is even applicable because of this journey of becoming humanity as kind of like I can see how the parameter may have dropped as reclamation continues.
Would Isaiah regress for the sake of survival? Would he give back something of himself for him to be able to continue his mission?
Ah, man. Okay, so what would Isaiah do? This is a good question. Would Isaiah regress? I um from what Isaiah and Patrick both understand with reclamation is that the journey to humanity is a it's a byproduct of the good deeds and positive choices that have been made along the way that have brought him to this point of nuance where the lines between undead and, you know, unalive, I guess, is starting to become blurry. And I don't think Isaiah at any point chose humanity. Um, he just made choices, and humanity was an outcome, a consequence of those good deeds. Um, so when he started to feel things, when he started to re-experience emotions again, that wasn't something he necessarily chose. That happened because he made choices that yielded those outcomes. So, would Isaiah choose to regress? I would say if he had the choice, I don't necessarily know if he would regress. I can't tell you that honestly if he would regress, but I would argue that he does not have the choice to regress because regression would be a consequence of his he would have had to have made a choice where the consequence that was yielded out of that was regression, and arguably a choice that would lead to regression or stray away from reclamation may violate his oath, because his oath is for redemption. So regression, I don't think fits in the I would say the itinerary, the schedule plan for what redemption all entails. And secondly, I just don't think with how Horus and Osiris created, manufactured, or facilitated this condition, I don't think they put in a clause that said, you can choose to go more undead if you, at your own will. Um, so that's how I picture it in my head. I think Isaiah is a product of circumstance, um, and not by choice as it pertains to his condition. His condition changes because his choices yield those outcomes, not because he chooses to change his condition per se. So what I will say right now is that with the advantage that you gave me, I rolled a 16 and a 17. Um, we can just count a straight roll, because I don't think I deserve or can really justify an advantage. And with that, I would just say that I have one passing death saving throw as I'm being crushed by this hag. And what I would say as a follow up to that, um, is as Isaiah's mind is fleeting into a seeming abyss or a lake of fire or whatever the case may be, the duat once again. Um, he can't help but think how this situation mirrors his original situation in a lot of ways. Uh, whereas whereas the original situation was I abandoned my friends and my companions because of cowardice. I found myself abandoning my companions and friends or neglecting my companions and friends for some sort of envy or lust for stopping the hags and what their mission was. I think he was so focused on what he thought was right, he didn't really he neglected his friends again. So while the cause is more nobler, he is still facing similar outcomes that he did all the way back when. And I think that thought would be very self-defeating. I think he would as his life is spiraling out, I think his own, you know, his last thoughts are, you know, oh shit, I did it again. And in that way, I think for reclamation, I think he would feel very undeserving, um, and not necessarily in a good spot. So, um, yeah, I think he at this point he would think, similar to then is as similar to now, which is, whatever happens happens.
Does Isaiah wish to survive in this situation? As you have argued certain clauses in your sworn oath I would argue that Horus and Osiris do not suffer cowards amongst the Magi, which you proved to be once. You feel yourself retreating into death and maybe acceptance, but you know from your stories of hags that no good will come from them having your body. Either way, if Isaiah chooses to belay his reborn passive ability to come back on a better death saving throw, you will be stabilized, Isaiah, by the hag so you can no longer come to conscious by your own means. You find yourself in a dreamscape of a world without yourself. You see your family, your mother and your father, your two sisters, and you do not see yourself. They live relatively normal lives. Same fate befalls your father, falling into the Duat. In this situation, neither of your sisters become Magi in his footsteps. Your mother never moves on, simply continues on to become a grandmother and eventually passes away from old age. You see your presence amongst the chosen few, as you promptly named them. The adventurers that we had come to know, Tink, Tangeth, and Ro. The person in your place of the party is a golden warrior known as Fredruel Paddock, as we know and love him. They go on, do very similar things that your group has done before, climbing the Romies Hill. Fredruel and Tangeth fight far more than they normally would have, or you and Tangeth would have, but they still keep a close bond. The party goes to Eastvilgen, meets Magnus. Ro falls not quite head over heels for him, but affection is born. Unfortunately, Fredruel doesn't make it out of Eastvilgen. He perishes. A lack of healing on the hands of his end comes to a timely end. Journeys move forward. Adventures are had. New team members come to replace the person that you never were. Tangeth makes his sword. He dies of the ice lock. The sword is claimed, lost, broken, and found again by another warrior, just like him. You see Ro cradling a red-haired man in her arms as he slowly begins to burn away into ash. And she rocks him until he finally disappears into the sky, weeping as hard as anyone could. Standing up, drawing her sword, she turns over towards what she finds to be her final enemy. And you never get to see who it is. Tink, hoping to find any type of peace, does so briefly in East Volgen, creating airships floating up to the sky with his former father, until eventually another association of the Manx finds him, claims him for articles of war, and they begin invading Salia, Vari, and eventually Jabaxi. This causes many of the citizens of Jabaxi to flee the continent, fleeing to Salia straight into the jaws of the Gnolls. Horus and Set pay no mind to the mortal world, simply continue fighting on their god planescape while everyone else suffers. You stare at this would-be future, Isaiah, and you feel something on your shoulder. You feel a feather. And you feel on your other shoulder what looks to be your Book of the Dead. You blink for a second, it turns into your heart. Which one feels heavier? The feather or the heart?
Is anyone else here in this dreamscape?
Roll a perception check.
A 7 for an 8.
You hear a familiar music, charming of the undead. You look around. You realize you can barely move. And you suddenly realize you've become a set of scales. You hear a voice of an otherworldly being say, "This is not how I predicted this outcome." You look, and you see what appears to be a very, very beautiful, pale-haired woman in humble regalia of someone in an administrative position of Jabaxi. You see a multi-animaled devourer of the undead at her side, and you believe yourself to be amongst the judgment of Mot, the goddess of truth. She looks at you with very sad eyes. You didn't have to travel far to make it to me. I have not read your scroll fully, because I fear what is at its end.
Do I see the scroll?
Scroll is resting on your left shoulder. The feather of Mott on your right.
And I am still a set of scales.
In a manner of speaking, yes.
I would say in an astral sense, if I am a set of scales, in an astral sense, I would look at Mott and um, I would say
You asked me which one feels heavier, and for the last several years, this thing, and I would kind of astrally gesture towards the heart that's on my right shoulder, right scale, and I would continue on and say, that thing has been dead weight, a prop, um, an ornament that stays in this husk while it goes about the world seeking new meaning as a result of horrible decision making and uh, a gross lack of maturity and accountability. But yet, those things that led to this thing feel like dead weight. Those things have always felt crushing. And I would look over to my Book of the Dead and say, despite being a piece of paper or a feather, regardless of how some of the other gods have tried to persuade to me that some of my misdeeds were not wholly uh, unwise um, or naive. I have never been able to escape or shake the crushing weight of the transgressions that I've committed in my past. So when you ask me which one's heavier, I don't know if I can ever give you an honest answer because only the scales and only you can weigh what's heavier, my heart or my deeds that I've done, my Book of the Dead. But I know from what I to believe is that regardless, um, this has been, and I'll gesture towards to the Book of the Dead again. This has been the biggest burden that I've carried uh, thus far, and I don't know if I will ever be able to shake that. But that is my truth.
He looks at you almost disappointingly. Do you know what I am the god of, Isaiah? My good friend.
You're the goddess of truth.
I am the goddess of truth. No one can lie to me. You spoke to me in a way that avoided both truth and lies. And I feel that we, as deities, have done you a disservice in guidance. This might come as a surprise, but I would like you to hear something that was told to me. I once judged an individual many years ago who did not come here with a sinless life. He did not come here with a purple scarab over his heart so that his heart could not bear witness to his sins. He answered every single one of my questions, and he proclaimed all of his sins before the 41 deities. And the feather was still heavier than his heart. And when I asked him how he lived a life with such ease, without guilt, he said something to me that I've heard more times than I can count now. Know thyself. And when he spoke those words, they rang truer than anything I've ever heard. He walked into the field of reeds. And you can do so too, if you know who you are. You are not ready to be judged. And you have fallen in the forest of the unjudged. Not without making a large amount of noise. When I meet you again and focus on those words, know thyself. Do you understand me?
You know, I think that's just a funny little thing you and all gods must have in common, which is you'll never fully understand the wisdom that they impart on you until you get it. So, right at this moment, do I understand what know thyself means?
Patrick, do you know what the know thyself means?
Is the god talking to Patrick now?
The DM is talking to Patrick right now.
Well, I know it's like know yourself.
It certainly is. You might have to mull on it because Isaiah, you wake up to a hag breaking your arm and fitting it into a shackle very abruptly and throwing you into a cage in an ill-lit room.
Oh man.
And we'll pick up our next session there.
Oh man. What a doozy. What a doozy.
Yeah, that did not turn out any bit of the way that I was hoping it would. But man, here we go.
Yeah, that didn't all the cool shit that I wanted to do didn't happen. Which is sad. But I only have myself to blame, which is largely my sentiments on this session. I think what I want to start off with first and foremost is that
I I'll own it. I'll own it. I'll call a spade a spade. I on a technical level, I played like dog shit.
Oh no.
I so many mistakes along the way. I like right away. I don't think I should have cast Shield of Faith. That was like a +2 is nice, but like they have like +8 or +9 to all their attacks, so it's like I'm getting smoked regardless. Um, I should have did cast Protection from Evil and Good,
Oh,
and
that would have been so good.
that would have
Oh my
literally
god.
changed everything. But I'm a dog shit player, and I didn't catch on to that. Secondly, I should have just hard focused the single hag, but I was so focused on what happens if they get away with that orb in that cage. And so that's when I did the dispel magic, and I even when Ion gave me advantage on strikes, I deliberately neglected to do so that I could cast dispel magic. Okay, I did that. And then even when I did that and it didn't work and Ion gets downed, I neglect to bring up Ion, but I'm thinking like, I only have 5 points in my lay on hands pool. If I just bring her up, she's just gonna get smoked again. So I'm like, why don't I just guarantee a kill before I bring her back up? Try to do that. Can't even guarantee a kill. Um, you know, uh, Mowgli, he did well for himself. He did not roll the hottest, but he did well for himself. Um,
Yeah.
but no, it was so many simple mistakes that just yielded a very not so favorable outcome, which I think is important. I think that's ultimately what keeps D&D fun and spicy. Is it's if you get favorable outcomes every single time, then it's not like it's kind of
No
boring.
stakes.
It's kind of
No
boring.
stakes.
Yep.
Yeah.
So in that sense, it's like I'm trying to be grateful for the fork, the not the fork, but the curveball that I gave myself in this sense. But yeah, to end up dead and to be judged, that was a cool little thing that I did not expect to happen per se, or at least like that. And
It wasn't supposed to happen this way. It wasn't. It wasn't
yeah,
supposed to happen this way.
no, I I appreciate that you gave me the opportunity to come up with a story reason to bring myself up, and that's why I did the bathroom break because I need the minute or two to mull on it and be like, does this work in the sense of the story or how I perceive the story to be? And I tried to do the hula hoops, the mental jumping jacks, or whatever the case may be, to see if it would work, and I just couldn't make it work for me in a way that makes sense. I just don't know if I would have, or if Isaiah would regress for the sake of self preservation, because on an optic standpoint, regression is a it's not a good thing. Like making yourself undead is not like it should not be anyone's goal, or to become more undead should not necessarily be someone's goal. And to do it out of self-preservation, it just kind of looked like that, his inciting event. Now, granted, we can chalk it up as like back then it was cowardice. This time you're doing it for the mission, but even then it was like, yes, the mission is important, but I think I'm more hung up on the principle. I think Isaiah would get more hung up on the principle, especially as a paladin. He would get more hung up on the principle than the ends justify the means angle of it all. Um, so it was an interesting like story bit, character development wise, of like how does he feel if given the choice. What would he give up to further the mission? Um, like what does he stand on in that sense? So I think that was a neat thing to explore. But overall, yeah, man, I just played like dog shit. That's just it's simple. No ifs, ands, or buts. I was getting upset at myself. I'm like, man, I'm really just. I think I'm making the right plays, but as they happen in real time, I'm like, oh no, this is not even remotely, uh, um, not even remotely like
going. It's not even that it has to go my way. This is not even going in a way that yields a favorable outcome for anyone involved. So, yeah, no, I did a disservice to Ion. I did a disservice to Mowgli. I did a disservice to myself. We took an L today, boys. We just really, yeah, I just fucked up. Um, and but that just comes with it. I think you need a couple of nicks and bruises to be able to learn from them. Can't learn from your dubs really.
Yeah, it's I knew that once the Sea Hag was going to use Death Glare, I'm like, oh well, this could be really bad. But I'm like, it's an 11 DC 11 Wisdom save. I'm like, it's there's a good chance you pass, like no matter what.
Yep.
But she rolled literally a natural 2, and I'm like, fuck, dude, fuck.
Yeah.
Even with your passive, uh, no, she wasn't even in range because it's like, how close is your aura?
The aura is 30 feet.
30 feet? Okay, yeah. I was gonna say I did account for it, but I'm like, no, she can't even make it with that. I'm like, fuck, man. Mowgli rolled an 11 on the die, so he didn't have a problem. But
God bless.
yeah, sea hags, they can just, if you stare in the eye and you're frightened, mind you, frightening is not a problem for you at all or anybody with a high level paladin. They can cause so much problems, so many problems.
Yeah, yep. That's D&D. If you roll badly, some fucked up shit will happen. But
It
it's
will.
like that eye thing. It's such a, I mean, for high level paladins, I should say, but not necessarily for Iron or Mowgli. Like, it's so like, oh, it's not even really. There's nothing to be too concerned about because I have a fucking +8, so it's like a 3 or less. Granted, I did roll a literal 3, but it was just it's not something that you have to worry about. But in the off chance that someone who isn't proficient with wisdom gets a little coyote wily and just rolls poorly, then it's like it changes everything. It'll literally change everything. And I was thinking about doing different spells. I was like, what if I did a hold person? I was debating in that last swing on the hag of do I take the 2 swings with disadvantage or do I just cast sleep? And I was like, oh, I could cast sleep, but and I know she would fall asleep, but I'm like, well, then the sea hag just comes out of nowhere, smokes my boots, and wakes up the other hag, and now I just burnt a spell slot just to do a lateral move, um, so I just decided against that, and yeah, man, it was a from the jump. I should not have casted sanctuary. It should or not just sanctuary. Should not have cast shield of faith. It should have been protection from evil and good, and I should have. I think the smartest thing I did was coat the poison onto the blade. That was very smart. But yeah, I just on a mechanical level did not play the most efficiently, which I think is also important. I don't think the most optimal get the most value out of every single turn. That's not necessarily how I should play D&D because it's 6 rounds, 6 seconds, represented around. So playing hyper optimal is just not hyper realistic. You're gonna make mistakes in combat. I mean, but those mistakes do mean life or death, and in this case, it meant death. Um, so yeah, interesting stuff. I should have just ignored the hags. I should have just fucked right off. But I am nosy and I like making things my business. Um,
You love to go for anything. You love it. If I put it in your way, you're like, oh, give me that shit.
I
Give
feel
me that.
you're like my
I would do the same thing. I
you're
would do
like
the same
you're
thing.
like my Charlize Theron from Mighty
Huh.
Joe Young, and I'm Mighty Joe
Oh my
Young, and you're
god.
just dangling the fucking keys, and
Why?
I'm going crazy. I'm going
Why is that
crazy.
your comparison? God.
What? What? Yeah, you seen that movie?
But yeah, I was gonna say, why are we doing a Mighty Joe Young reference
Hey,
right now? I
hey.
haven't thought of that in so long. Oh my god.
Oh, when the fucking like zookeeper, the white guy, just goes up to the Mighty Joe Young pen and just starts like taunting it with the keys. Oh man, and Mighty Joe Young's getting pissed. I'm like, ooh, fuck, do something, Mighty Joe. But,
Try.
um, Yeah, no, and not a lot of cool shit that I did. It was just mostly like horribly like, oh, I fucked up shit. Like it's like, yeah. The cool shit was the story stuff. Once I died, that was the cool stuff. Um, so that was nice, but otherwise, oh man, the session was fucked up. The session was fucked up. What was your thoughts?
I like at the end of the day, I love it because it means I'm going to move forward with directly with these hags and their plan, which you don't know what it is. You do know what it involves to a degree, but it's going to be you're going to be in a Saw movie next. So you're going to have to do your best to get the fuck out of there and like I'm excited for the next session. I really am. I did not fully prepare these hags and their hideout yet. I was like, hey, there's going to be these hags. There's going to be a good option over here, and a possibly bad one once it's revealed over here. And you went for the real bad one, and I'm like, okay, yeah, all right, bro, yeah, word, word.
Even
And
that, I shouldn't have even picked to walk in the direction of the dark road, because then I may have gotten a different encounter, which may have yielded different results. But I'm like,
yeah,
fuck it, let's just see what's at the dark road. Um, yeah, so like again, mistakes left and right, mistakes left and right.
we're past that now. So we're out here, we're living. You're you're deep in hag territory at this moment in time, and it's going to be a good time.
Maybe.
I will say that a lot of your stuff will be gone for the moment in time. You'll still have your armor, and I will say that there's one thing that Isaiah absolutely becomes conscious of very quickly is that you have been unarmed or disarmed of the Kopesh, the Stinger of the Web Weaver. Which one's your sword arm, Isaiah? Is it your broken left arm or your broken right arm?
I think he is right-handed.
He's right-handed?
Yeah.
Okay. At the very palm of your hand, Isaiah, you see a piece of web leading off into a certain direction into the hag's hideout.
You can't say that. We already ended the session. You can't say that.
I'm telling you.
You
I'm
can't say
telling you,
that.
bro.
You can't. Oh,
I'm
I
telling
don't.
you, bro.
I'm gonna forget because this is, this
That's
is
fine.
this is off the record. This is not canon. You can't say. You
You
can say that, but
Oh,
it's
okay.
not canon.
Okay.
We ended the session. All of this is hearsay at this point.
Oh, okay. I mean, that's fair. It's all hearsay, really,
Yep.
until the dice are rolled,
It
and then
is
it's not
literally
hearsay.
hearsay. Yep. Um, Yeah, man. Oh, and I missed two attacks. I missed two attacks. I have a +9
Yeah,
weapon. I missed two attacks. Those two attacks would have made all the difference.
it
And then I
they
could
really
have,
would have.
if I wanted to be a petty D&D player. But one of the attacks I did was a normal attack with I didn't do the acid on it because you said the health was really low. So I metagamed a little bit, and I'm like, I don't need to burn a smite. So when you said that it didn't die, I was
Oh,
like,
okay.
am I gonna be petty and just be like, actually, I'm gonna burn a smite to really make sure that I finish it? But I'm like, I didn't call it, so the attack already happened. So I was debating that, but I'm like, just own it. You made the decision not to smite, so don't go back to be like, I'm smiting now.
Okay, yeah, that's fair. I respect that honesty. She had 3 HP left. That was it.
Yep,
That's all
yep.
she had left. And it was a case of like, well, she's either gonna hug you to death or she's dead. Like I can't do anything else. And then the sea hag is gonna be like, okay, I'm gonna clean up as best I can and walk away, cause we got our objective mostly. Fuck.
So I don't understand. Explain this to me. Why is it that a standard grapple is a contested athletics check, but the hag's hug is a roll to hit?
Uh, it's just the flavor for some monsters. It's like, if a dragon or a purple worm bites you, you are immediately engulfed, within its jaws, and you have to roll to get out. It's like that. It's basically just an attack.
Okay.
So think of her hug as a bite
Okay, interesting.
from a large creature.
Oh, I bet you have disadvantage on grapple checks with large creatures. Is that a thing?
Um, See, I was reading Bigby's hand. That is the case with Bigby's hand, is that Bigby's hand has advantage on medium or smaller creatures, but I believe grappling for large creatures, I don't think that's the case. It's just the case if you're grappling them and trying to move them. Is that if they are the same size as you, your movement will be halved, but if they're not, if they're smaller than you can just move your full movement. And if they're bigger than you, I think either the movement is halved or you just can't really move them that well depending on your strength score.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Um yeah, grappling's always been a point of contention for sure. Uh Also disarming, like there are unofficial, like, I mean, it's an official rule, but it's an optional rule of you just rolled a hit, I found out, and that person makes a athletics grappling check to hang onto their weapon, and if they hang onto it with two hands, they do it with advantage, which
Interesting.
makes sense to me. That makes sense.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, things are wild, man.
Ray, what
Things are...
this means to me is that I gotta level up. You have to just level me up because
You know,
I got smoked by hags. You know, Mowgli did a great job. He did his part. Ion was great. She did her part. Well, yeah, she threw a tree. She threw a tree very well.
she did.
Um,
She did.
but and that's another thing that I fucked up, bro. I went into this hag fight because I'm just so gully. Mr. Righteous has to do the right thing every time he sniffs something bad, vaguely bad. You know, he could be at like a fucking anime convention and he smells dudes with no deodorant and he takes out his divine smite before preparing battle. You know, like it's just anything that's vaguely bad, he has to address it. I went into the fight, no joke, 40 HP. I did not even heal
Oh
myself
shit.
before getting there. So
That's
I
true.
initiated the fight with 40 HP. Your first attack does 29 damage to me. I was at 11 HP after
Oh my
one hit.
god.
After
Oh my
one
god.
hit. That's
That
what
was the
I'm
hug.
saying.
Oh.
That's what I'm saying, bro. I played so and I don't know why I played so I did not get a lot of sleep last night, granted. I got like 4 hours of sleep, but even so, even with that lack of sleep, I can't believe I was so I don't know, delusional, misguided. Like, I know that at full health, if we had a clean long rest and we engaged these three hags, oh, I would guarantee that we could take on all three at the same
Oh.
time and do fine. If I
Oh.
cast protection from evil and good and I have all my spell slots and we're just straight cooking, I bet you I could do it. But from just so much misplay, I'm not gonna be able to let this go because this is just it bled into the how I feel about how I played this session bled into that monologue at the end of just like you know this mirrors how I fucked up in the beginning in the backstory and it's not too different from that and I just feel so grossly undeserving, and so yeah, this was just not a great showing on my behalf. So yeah, this sucked. So it sucked in the way of like how I played it. I'm not saying the session sucked. I'm just saying like yeah, I sucked.
I will say this. You are going to level up.
Now when I wake up in well, let me just say this: it's not canon. So in this let's say you know, what's DC? What does DC call it? Elseworlds. In this Elseworlds version of your campaign, where I'm in this, hag cell, and there's like spider web coming out of my hand. Does that technically count as a long rest, or is this not long after I lost consciousness?
You're gonna roll hit dice to declare how much HP you get back. It's going to be the equivalent of a short rest. You will level up. Both of your arms are broken. One of your arms, your left arm, is being pulled outside of this gibbeting cage, like completely taut down to the bottom of the floor. Your right arm is currently left as it is, but you are hanging from a cage on the ceiling.
Hags are just not nice, man.
They're not. They really are not. Like, they'll be nice to a degree as long as they, work towards a higher goal, but they absolutely will do terrible, terrible things, especially these ones. But hags are cool.
Get fucking, I don't know, Puzz in there. She'll tear up some ass.
Damn, that's the secret.
Oh my
Puzz.
gosh, I get improved divine smite at
You
11th
do.
level. Oh my gosh, every
You
hit
do,
is
sir.
just an extra D8 of radiant damage.
Honestly, it's very fitting right now.
Oh man, they're gonna catch these glowing hands. Ray, when are you gonna
No.
make me respec my character? Can I do that ever? No. All right.
Roll your HP as well.
Oh yeah, my HP is a D10. I forgot. Hang on.
Might be a D8.
No, wait. Manage.
It's a D10. Yeah, you're a D10.
And my con is a +1. Okay. Oh, it was at 10 for a little bit, and then it swapped to a 4, so I gained 5.
Okay.
So let's go back. Hang on. Let's go to manage. Manage character and levels.
I am going to say, as Isaiah has decided not to regress into his previous thing, I'm going to say I'm going to change some features of yours.
Yeah, I think we
As
have
a,
to hard commit to what it means as Reclamation goes on to what abilities he has access to and no longer has access to.
I feel like Isaiah has become more of a spirit than an undead. Still similar to the afterlife, but you are becoming far more hard to describe.
A spirit warrior?
You're very warrior-y. I don't know. I know you've never watched Bleach, but they're all essentially the Shinigami themselves, meaning Death God are essentially just spiritual beings made of spirit energy, but also have bodies that they can leave behind and such.
You know what's interesting? Dragon Age
Um,
gets into this a little bit.
really?
I
Oh.
forgot. I forgot how it happens, but basically, um, if a if a human that is not a human per se, if a magic adept entity um, basically makes good with a particular kind of spirit, uh, that spirit can sometimes, like, I guess the way it's not possess, because possess is not the right way to put it, but basically embody or coexist, and it can be either uh, it's either embody or coexist, and there's two distinct examples. So in Dragon Age Awakening, which is the DLC for Dragon Age Origins, this is free plug. Dragon Age Origins and Awakening, great game and great DLC. Dragon Age Awakening, there is a warrior who died in the heat of battle trying to save um, a keep from being overrun by, I don't know if it was Darkspawn or what the case may be, but he got overrun and killed in the heat of battle. But because he was so devout into doing what was right, a spirit of justice entered his body and possessed it and
the person who was there doesn't exist. They're dead. They passed on. But the spirit of justice exists in the body, and the character refers to himself as Justice. So you just call him as Justice. And this will be future spoilers if you were to play Dragon Age Origins or Awakening. But eventually, that character meets a mage named Anders, and Anders, I don't know how they do it, if they did it off screen or whatever the case may be, but Anders, a living mage, became friends with Justice and became good friends, and uh, because of his relationship with Justice, Justice actually exited the corpse's body and went into Anders' body, and they coexisted in the same form. So it was Anders and Justice in the same form, and they both kind of empowered each other with their own things. And what was interesting with Anders, and they get into this in Dragon Age 2, is that Anders, with the spirit in his body, developed a level of schizophrenia, because both himself and the spirit were vying for control, because sometimes they had different perceptions of what was right, what to do in certain situations. And the coolest part about Anders' arc, which is the best and worst thing to happen to Anders' arc, is that because the mages are so oppressed in the Dragon Age games, Anders is hyper jaded and very he hates the Templars, which is the police force of Dragon Age games, basically,
Of course.
for mages specifically, not for like citizens.
Oh, just for mages?
Just for
Okay, cool.
mages, because they don't trust
Cool.
mages, because mages,
Yeah.
they ruin
Mad.
everything.
Yep.
And so he has, I would say, a lot of hate for Templars and the unjust treatment of a lot of mages. And so because there would be a lot of situations where Anders would let his emotions get the better of him and like make some rash decisions, and so some of his negative emotions and energy basically poisoned the spirit of justice inside him, and so the spirit of justice throughout the course of the game turns into the spirit of vengeance, and that spirit of vengeance takes over Anders' body and basically does some fuck shit, and the whole ending of the game is fucked, and it leads to the events of Dragon Age Inquisition, dealing with the outcome of what happens in Dragon Age 2. But basically that's what happens, and it's very cool, and the lore of Dragon Age is very cool, and yeah, that. Thank you for allowing me to talk about Dragon Age for 7 minutes, 8 minutes, because I could go on and on.
Well played. Well played.
But yeah,
Uh,
so I don't know if you'd want. I don't have a spirit in me, but yeah, it's not
no,
like
you
that.
are that spirit basically. But that is good writing. I will say that, especially with differing personalities and perceptions on the world, it makes for a perfect dynamic almost. Uh, in the case of what you are anymore, we did have that situation where I was alluding to the fact that you can possess people. So, you know, keep that in mind. So
Jeez,
we'll work around because you did so with the sleepers in that outpost in the desert.
really? How'd I do that?
Um,
Oh yeah, I did do that. Oh,
you
I
did
thought
do
that was
that.
just. I thought that was some do-watch shenanigans. I didn't think that
No,
was
no,
me.
no. That was you. That was entirely you. But it was because you were in the duat as well. With your divine sense, you could see into the actual material plane while you're using it in the duat. Um, However, we will have to make some adjustments on what you are, and I'll have a great time brainstorming and researching. If anyone's ever done anything like this before, so I can steal their ideas. You know,
Yeah,
good times.
time to go to
Good
Reddit.
times. Absolutely.
What'd
Um,
you guys do when this happened?
yeah, yeah, seriously. Yeah, no, that was a good session. It went flying off the rails, just the way every session should go.
Yeah.
Throw that script out. Fuck the
Yep.
script.
Yep. Yeah.
Fuck the script, Percy the Cat.
There's a trend with our D&D sessions. Either you do something to me that's completely unexpected. I'm like, oh shit, or I do something completely unexpected and you're like, oh shit. Or the dice rolls tell both of us, nah,
Yeah,
this is unexpected.
yeah,
Oh shit.
yeah, yeah. And I love it when the dice tell me what's what because I'm like, damn, that's how the story's going. Damn, faked, faked.
You look at the dice, you
Oh,
really want this to happen like this?
jeez, you're kind of fucked up.
Are you sure? You're
You're gonna have a moon
cold.
base.
You're
My
cold.
God, yeah, that's pretty fucked up, bro. You
That's
like
funny.
hags? I didn't know you liked hags.
Oh my
Damn,
gosh. Oh, this
damn.
reclamation is going to be. Uh, um, we're going to rename the campaign to Reclaim the Coven or something like
Yeah,
that. I'm going to just join the Coven and I'm going to be like, all right, guys, this mission's going to be on a pause because I found my homies. That's a joke.
yeah.
That's a joke. It won't happen like that.
God damn.
So in this Elseworlds, where I'm in this cage and I have broken arms, do you think I could possess the hags? What do you think about that?
Uh, See, I had to look something up because hags are very much so fey creatures, and I'm like, do hags sleep? Can you actually put them to sleep? And as far as I can tell, they're resistant to charms. But as far as I know, unlike elves, they don't. They do sleep. As far as I know.
Oh, so my
Um,
sleep spell wouldn't have worked on them? Oh
I
wait,
think
no.
sleep would have worked. Yes.
Yeah, it's not a charm. It's just it's an
No.
HP pool thing.
No. As far as I can tell here
Oh
in this
wait, undead
situation.
and creatures immune to being charmed aren't affected by the spell. So if they have
Well, they're
charm
not immune.
immunity,
They're not
okay,
immune.
okay,
They are resistant. They have advantage.
okay, cool,
Why
cool
is
beans.
my sister here? I hear her.
Hey sister.
No,
Oh, my
that
bad.
is all.
All right, fair
That
enough.
is all. Let's see here. Green hags are amphibious. I did not know that. That's gross. I hate that.
That's hate.
I hate that. I will fully dive into that. Speak Draconic and Sylvan. It doesn't say anything about their stupid bullshit of charms or sleep. It does mention Hag Coven magic, which is just NPC magic, which means it just does whatever you want it to do. So
Okay, fair
the
enough.
most powerful of magics. Yeah.
All right. Well, I think we covered all the stuff. I will end the episode here, guys. Stay tuned next time. We're probably gonna wait another month again because we have to take time to emotionally recover from all this trauma. So we're not in a rush to get to the next episode. Don't even worry about it.
I'm
Joking.
so
We'll see.
excited.
We'll see what
Oh,
happens. But yeah, thank you for tuning in to probably the most traumatic episode of the Reclamation series so far. Maybe it'll be maybe I'll get good at this game finally, and all the other episodes will go way smoother than this one.
might be the second to last. We'll see.
Yep,
We'll
exactly.
see.
Yep, we had a good run. Yep. There's only so many times where the goddess of truth is like, you can live this time. um, so I think I just burnt my my second get out of jail free card actually canonically. Um, so yeah. Until next time, you guys have a good one. Love you. Goodbye.